So good afternoon, everyone. So today we are going to start the marathon session, right? Marathon session. The first class is on the circulars that I'm going to cover from January to May month. Is it clear? So in this class, I will be teaching the important circular, not very in depth, but I will be giving you the key points which is important for your prelims examination, as well as we are discussing the top 100 MCQ as well in this class only. I will be giving you half an hour break. First, I will be completing all the theories which is important for you according to the indexation. Just after 5 minutes, I will be showing you the indexation in the PDF, right? And after that, I will be making you after, I guess it will be taking around 2 hours. And after that, 10 to 15 minutes, I will give you break. And after that, I will be taking 1 hour classes of MCQ sessions, right? That we have learned in the. So the gist I will be only discussing. I will be discussing with analogy. The chat option is open, but what I will say, I will be taking your all doubts after I will be completing all the circulars, right? Ki whatever the doubts you are having regarding the circulars, I will be taking after the completion of the class. So be ready with A4 size paper, right? A4 size paper should be there, right? And everyone should have the A4 size paper in front of you. What you will have in this A4 size paper, 10 to 15 paper ले लो या कोई copy लेके बैठ जाओ. उसमें whatever the key highlights that I am telling you, you have to make a heading of it and you have to write it. Whatever the important point I will tell you, that is important for your prelims, as well as some points I will tell you that you can make up for your static portion of finance as well as ESI that is used in the circular. So this is all about the introduction. That's why I've switched on my recording, the video. I will be switch off the recording video. Why? Because I'm not taking the class from the laptop. I'm taking class from the my iPad. Right. So iPad, if it will be the landscape mode, my only the left portion will be visible to you. So that's why I will be switch off the video option. Okay. Why? Because iPad में voice ज़्यादा clear आती है. I have seen multiple recordings when I'm taking from laptop as well as my iPad. ठीक है? So that is the only issue with the laptop. जिसमें voice break होती है. So everyone is able to listen my voice audible. Completely audible है सभी को. Completely audible है. Right. So let's start the class now. ठीक है? So I'm giving you the option over here. चलो. So I hope the screen is visible with the indexation. So first, what you all have to do, please, whatever I am telling you, please note it down in a paper, right? How I will cover the mind map should be very much clear, right? How I am covering each and every topic which is related to this circular from January to May month, right? So indexation one, please note it down, everyone. It is not written over here, but I'm telling you, indexation one. Indexation one, what indexation one is it about? NBFC regulation and supervision. सबसे पहले समझ लो NBFC regulation and supervision में I will be teaching you the indexation one. In this indexation one I have 5 circular news. पहला क्या है? NBFC capital adequacy high quality infrastructure projects, that is HQIP. Second is NBFC scale based regulation SBR. Third is NBFC branch authorization amendment. Fourth is NBFC registration exemption for tier 1 NBFC. ठीक है? Fifth one is deposit taking versus non-deposit taking NBFC framework. I hope it is clear. So इस तरह करके there are 15 to 16 indexation and each indexation में sub indexation है. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Sub topics है. So in this index one, please note it down. Index one में what it is? Index one में what I am teaching you? NBFC regulation and supervision. Because NBFC is directly in your RBI syllabus. That's why this is most important that you should understand. That's why we have taken in indexation one. Is it clear? Till here it is clear. Till here it is clear to everyone. Are you all getting my point? ठीक है? देखो PDF तो आपके पास ग्रुप पे आ चुका है in your Telegram channel as well as. So nothing PDF I will be going to discuss. But what I'm going to discuss, I will be giving you some analogy. You have to write it down. देखो आपने पढ़ाई तो बहुत PDF से कर ली. बट वॉट यू ऑल हैव टू डू, इसलिए मैं A4 साइज पेपर बोल रहा हूँ कि वॉट एवर आई विल टेल यू, मैं हेडिंग बताऊंगा, उस हेडिंग से सब हेडिंग बताऊंगा और सब हेडिंग में मैं वॉट एवर द की इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स आई विल इलस्ट्रेट और आपको वो नोट करना है. समझ में आ रहा है? विद एनालॉजी आई विल मेक यू एक्सप्लेन. ठीक है? एंड ये क्विक 5 मिनट्स का टारगेट देके ईच एंड एवरी सब हेडिंग्स वी विल ट्राई टू कवर. ठीक है? सो पहला हेडिंग, आई होप एवरीवन हैज नोटेड डाउन इन योर कॉपी, राइट? या दिस विल बी अपलोडेड इन यूट्यूब एज वेल. सो दिस इज इंडेक्सेशन 1. बट लाइव क्लास करोगे तो ज्यादा मजा आएगा. Indexation 1, that is NBFC regulation and supervision. NBFC regulation and supervision. Please note it down, everyone. Is it clear? In this, simply try to understand what is the meaning of NBFC regulation and supervision. इसमें पहला टॉपिक ये है, that is NBFC capital adequacy, that is high quality infrastructure projects HQIP. But please try to understand ये जो सब हेडिंग्स जो मैंने हेडिंग्स बताया, NBFC regulation and supervision, what is the meaning of it? Simple analogy के में समझोगे तो try to understand कि RBI as a school principal, RBI को एक school principal समझ लो, please. RBI is your school principal and NBFC is the student of RBI. ठीक है? So try to understand, not every student creates the same level of risk. हर student equally बदमाश नहीं होते. A student carrying rupees 100 is at low risk. If a student carrying rupees 10,000 is at high risk. This is something NBFC regulation and supervision. Therefore, principal क्या करेगा? That is RBI supervises the larger students more closely. जिसके पास भी high risk की चीजें हैं, RBI will try to look at them more closely. This is exactly what RBI does through scale-based regulation SBR framework. I will make you understand everything. ठीक है? This is the heading which is not mentioned over here. I have break down everything. Now, इसमें पहला सब heading what we have to read. Please note it down. That is NBFC capital adequacy high quality infrastructure projects, that is HQIP. ठीक है? So please try to understand. The PDF is in front of you. I'm not going to make you understand each and every PDF because this is a gist that I'm discussing. Right? Whatever it has been written, you can read it out on your own. Why was it introduced? Please note it down. Why it was introduced? Why HQIP high quality infrastructure projects has been introduced, which is relevant for your prelims examination. It has been introduced for infrastructure projects like highways, airports, dams, metro projects. Is it clear? Which take years before generating income. Why? Because they will take years for generating income. You can understand. Highways will take years for generating income. So that's why bank and NBFC क्या करते हैं? Hesitate to lend because money gets locked for long period. इसीलिए कोई भी banks है या NBFC है, they are hesitating to give the loan according to this infrastructure projects, that is highway, airports, dams and metro projects. ठीक है? For long period. So RBI have to step into it, right? So RBI therefore rewards safer projects. ठीक है? समझ में आया? इसको easily एक वे में समझो कि मान लो there are two students asking for loans. ठीक है? एक स्टूडेंट की there is a good academic record, stable family income, has already repaid all old loans. जो स्टूडेंट B है, there is no repayment history. Would get a easier credit. Try to understand. किसको जल्दी easier credit मिलेगा? Obviously student A. That is what HQIP works similarly. समझ में आया? HQIP इसी तरह similarly work करते हैं. Conditions for HQIP क्या होना चाहिए? A project must be satisfied. पहला point लिखो. Minimum 1 year of successful operation. Standard assets should be there. Second point. Third, stable government backend revenue. Fourth, escrow and TRA mechanism होना चाहिए. Escrow account is a special account, third party account होती है जिसमें not a government is having holding, not a bank. वो एक ट्रस्ट बिल्ड करने के लिए escrow account खोला जाता है. Not in detail, I can tell you right now. Fifth is adequate financial strength, and sixth is no additional borrowing without lender's approval. So if all the conditions must be satisfied simultaneously, then it is given under the conditions of HQIP. समझ में आया? Now, please try to understand the important numbers. Important numbers try to understand. Repayment level and risk weight. That is given over here. यहाँ पर अब rule देख लो. The rule is, it is important for your prelims paper. Repayment level 2% debt that has been repaid. Risk weight कितना रखना है? 75%. समझ में आ रहा है? Everyone should note it down. This is the data that can be asked in your prelims. Is it clear? Are you getting my point? Second, अगर आप 5% debt repaid कर रहे हो, repayment level है, then the risk weight you have to maintain is 50%. Are you getting my point? Is the news clear to everyone? Is the news clear to everyone? Is the news clear to everyone? तो ठीक है, तो इससे इसको समझ अभी तक समझ के देखो कि अगर risk weight will be lower, if the risk weight is getting lower, what does it mean? It means that the capital requirement, if the risk weight will be lower, it means that the capital requirement will be less, which means lending capacity will be more. अगर किसी में भी risk weight कम दिख रहा है, तो capital requirement भी कम होगा, lending capacity will be more. Are you getting my point? Are you all getting my point? Is it clear till here? Is it clear till here? So please try to understand. ये important point है जो आपको read करना था इस PDF में. To qualify as HQIP, a project must be satisfy all 6 mandatory conditions that I have told you. Is it clear? ये आपको what are the conditions under HQIP? They can ask in your examination, right? Because RBI has just level up the prelims level as well. तो ये point जो मैंने बताया 6 conditions you have to note it down. Important is circular member 189 commercial bank, ये याद रखना. 190 small finance bank. Small finance banks are under the category of differentiated bank, ये भी याद रखना. 191 AIFI. AIFI क्यों? All India Financial Intermediaries, because it is one of the classification of bank. एक classification of bank एक होता है financial intermediaries, right? दो act as a classification of bank financial intermediaries में दो classification होती है. AIFI होती है बैंक में और NBFC, right? AIFI आप सभी को पता होगा. 5 AIFI और NBFC ये फाइनेंशियल इंटरमीडिएरीज के बैंक के क्लासिफिकेशन में आती है, राइट? प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. तो पारी पासु चार्ज मींस मल्टीपल लेंडर्स रैंक इक्वली ओवर द सेम एसेट with none having priority. Escrow TRA means all project revenue flows into one trust managed account, not the borrower's hands. Steps in right, lenders take over the project if the borrower defaults. समझ में आया? Are you getting my point till here? Is everyone getting till here? Please try to reply so that I can understand you are getting my point. Is it clear? Now, reversion rule. Reversion rule, what it is telling about, if a project latter fails any condition, the exposure reverts to the highest standard risk weight. The repayment threshold is measured on total sanctioned debt. Fresh loans backed by the same asset must be aggregated. ये याद रख लेना, ये for the revision I have told you, but this is static portion that it has been mentioned. NBFC tier, asset size and criteria and regulatory impact, what it is having. Base layer NBFC BL, assets below rupees 1000 crore, याद करो, includes P2P lenders, account aggregators and firm without public funds or customer interference, minimum interventions, lightest regulatory and supervisory requirement. ठीक है, ये टेबल you have to remember. ठीक है, that is middle layer, ये याद रख लो, ये आपकी स्टैटिक सिलेबस है. मिडिल लेयर में कितना है? Assets 1000 crore and above includes all deposit taking NBFC, that is NBFC which is taking deposits, infrastructure finance, IFCs and housing finance company, that is HFC. तो stricter regulations है, ये याद रखना बस इतनी points. Upper regulations, that is NBFC upper layer, that is telling about NBFC specially identified by the RBI based on systematic significance. The top 10 NBFC by asset size are automatically included. ठीक है, तो इसमें क्या है? Enhanced regulatory requirement, right? This is all about the first. This is subheading that I have discussed. ठीक है, subheading समझ में? HQIP is clear to everyone. Please be responsive. Please be responsive. The HQIP is clear. Those who are coming in the live classes, be responsive so that I can know. Right. Now, let's discuss with the second, that is Credit Risk Management Amendment Directions 2026. That is connected lending. What does it mean? What does it mean? Please, anyone, can you tell me what it is the meaning of connected lending? Connected lending क्या है? Please try to understand. आपने पढ़ा होगा, right? तो देखो, many banks failures worldwide trace back to connected, call or crony lending. Banks lending cheaply to their promoters, directors or related companies to evergreening. ये याद रखना, ठीक है? ये याद रखना. To that together form a single unified framework. Stamp this out. That many bank failures worldwide trace back to connected or chronic lending. समझ में आया? The rule what it is telling about, which is important for your prelims examination, is this is effective from 1st April 2026. The 8 circulars over which bank? Commercial bank, small finance bank, local area bank, regional rural bank, urban cooperative bank, rural cooperative banks, NBFC and all India financial institutions. ठीक है? Lending to related parties, promoters, directors, KMP, major shareholders is tightened stricter. The arm length principle is mandatory related to the parties exactly the same. It is these points are important. बस ये देखो 8 circulars cover किस किस बैंक को cover कर रहे हैं, which can be asked in your prelims examination. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Now, rest you can check it out जहां डेटा दिखे इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट। तो अब यहाँ क्या बता रहा है, लेगेसी, ये पॉइंट देख लो, लेगेसी लोन्स may run to maturity but no renewal or enhancement is permitted after the effective date. Is that clear? Please try to understand materiality threshold by bank asset. It is important. क्या है? Above which is related party loan needs a senior scrutiny. Banks with asset over, ये लिख लो अपने A4 साइज पेपर में, रुपीज 10 लाख करोड़, which is रुपीज 25 करोड़ पर ट्रांजेक्शन, रुपीज 1 to 10 लाख करोड़ कितना है, रुपीज 10 करोड़, बिलो 1 लाख करोड़ कितना है, रुपीज 5 करोड़। दिस विल बी ओनली आस्क्ड इन योर प्रीलिम्स पेपर। जहां डेटा दिख रहा है कि इफेक्टिव डेट लिख लो, नंबर ऑफ बैंक्स लिख लो, क्या क्या इंक्लूड किया गया है इन दिस सर्कुलर, विच कमर्शियल बैंक, स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक, लोकल एरिया बैंक, रीजनल रूरल बैंक, अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, रूरल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, एनबीएफसी एंड और एआईएफआई। इज इट क्लियर? ठीक है। केएमपी का लेंडिंग टू रिलेटेड पार्टीज, प्रोमोटर डायरेक्टर्स, केएमपी मेजर शेयर होल्डर्स। ठीक है। एंड ये पॉइंट लिख लो, दिस पॉइंट कि मेटेलिटी थ्रेशोल्ड बाय बैंक एसेट साइज क्या है। इफ इट इज रुपीज 10 लाख करोड़, इट इज रुपीज 25 करोड़ पर ट्रांजेक्शन। अगर 1 से 10 लाख करोड़ के बीच में है, इट इज रुपीज 10 करोड़ पर ट्रांजेक्शन। इफ इट इज बिलो 1 लाख करोड़, इट इज रुपीज 5 करोड़ per transaction. Is it clear? You should note it down. Now, please try to understand what it has been written over here. ठीक है? Non-strategic equity exemption, that is the related party lending bar, does not apply if the bank, FI, MF, FPI holds, ये लिख लो, greater than equal to 10% of equity and has no control over the company. The exam trap, its control, not the equity percentage that decides whether the prohibition will apply or not. This is all about the news. ठीक है? This is all about the thing that you should understand. तो यहाँ एक एग्जाम्पल भी दिया हुआ है, यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड। देखो जहां जहां डेटा दिया हुआ है दैट यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड। ये देखो नॉन स्ट्रेटेजिक इक्विटी एग्जेम्पशन में क्या क्या है, दैट द बैंक, फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशंस, ठीक है, एफपीआई, एमएफ होल्ड्स ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 10%, प्लीज नोट इट डाउन, इक्विटी एंड हैज नो कंट्रोल। दिस इज, ये पॉइंट मेंशन कर लो, एंड दिस इज ओनली इंपॉर्टेंट इन दिस सर्कुलर। ठीक है। अब बैंक होल्डिंग्स, अब ये एग्जांपल के थ्रू यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड। अब बैंक होल्डिंग 12% इन अ कंपनी एंड सिटिंग ऑन इट्स बोर्ड, अगर 12% इट इज होल्डिंग एंड सिटिंग ऑन इट्स बोर्ड, कंट्रोल एग्जिस्ट, लेंडिंग इज restricted, a mutual fund holding 11% purely for returns with no controls allowed, a passive non-strategic holding. This is all about the thing. So it is very easy news and not that important, but you should understand that what it has been related to the credit risk management amendment direction, that is connected lending. Is it clear? Is it clear? So I hope the first, that is NBFC capital adequacy, that is high quality infrastructure projects HQIP, and the second, which is not that important from my point of view, but you have to read it, the data only, that is credit risk management amendments direction 2026 connected lending. Right, it is clear. This is very important because it has been shown in the multiple times in the newspaper, that is supervisory data quality index, that is SDQI September 2025. So what it is telling about it, please have a look. ये क्या बता रहे हैं, please have a look. ये क्या बता रहे हैं, please tell me what it is telling about it. Please try to tell me. ये क्या बताता है SDQI, आपने पढ़ा होगा बहुत बार. I hope everyone has read it multiple times. Can anyone tell me? Right? This was in the news multiple times. Chalo, if you are not getting, let me tell you. It is connected. The RBI supervises banks party through the data banks report to do what? If the data is wrong, supervision fails. I have multiple times in my Panchsutra class told this. The SGQI is a health check. ये क्या है? Please note it down. Wherever you are having a A4 size paper, please note it down. SGQI is what? It is a health check. ठीक है? Health check for what? On quality of the reported data that is given to RBI. Is it clear? So it is based on the 4 pillars. That is, पहला याद रखना, completeness. That is 96.1% strongest. ठीक है? Timeliness. That is 93.5%. Accuracy, it is not percent, it is exact data, 86.8. And the consistency, 86.4. So wherever you are making notes, please have a thing to remember that on the 4 pillars it has been done. What is completeness? That is 96.1, which is strongest. Timeliness, that is 93.5. right? Accuracy, which is 86.8, and consistency, which is 86.4, right? This is the four pillar that it has been written. Are you getting my point? So RBI, through this supervisory data quality index, that is SDQI, on September, what does it does? It checks the health checkup, which is telling about the quality of the reported data. Are you getting my point, beta? Is it clear? Now, it is some important point that you should understand. All the SCB average rows, that is scheduled commercial bank, एवरेज रोज फ्रॉम 89.9 फ्रॉम जून टू, यहाँ पर अब एसजीबी लिख देना, ठीक है? कहा कितना रोज किया है? 89.9 फ्रॉम जून 2025 टू 90.7 सितंबर 2025, क्रॉसिंग फ्रॉम द एक्सेप्टेबल बैंड इनटू गुड। एक्सेप्टेबल से कहां चला गया है? गुड पे। स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक को लिख लो, was the highest performance, and it can be asked which bank was the highest performance according to the SDQI index. That is small finance bank, which is the 91.5. No scheduled commercial bank scored below 80. Bands greater than 90 is good. 80 से 90 acceptable. Less than 80, which needs improvement. This is all about the SDQI. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear to everyone? Please, those who will sit for last 3 hours, trust me, you will have a greater explanation and revision. Please, whatever I am telling you, A4 size paper लो, और जो भी डेटा मैं बता रहा हूँ उसको लिख के रहो, because it is just a mugging up the data. If you are weak at the financial portion में, आपको क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ बैंक्स, पोवर्टी, अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट, मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, फिस्कल पॉलिसी या फाइनेंशियल मार्केट का टर्म्स बहुत अच्छे से क्लियर नहीं है, देन यू विल फेस सम डिफिकल्टी। उसके ही केस के लिए मैं बता रहा हूँ, राइट, कि यू शुड हैव अ A4 साइज पेपर एंड व्हाटएवर द डेटा आई एम टेलिंग यू, प्लीज नोट इट डाउन। एंड आज आपको बस सर्कुलर पढ़ना है, राइट? Then most of the questions you will able to solve. Is it clear? This is complete. If we will check, this is a mind map, and through this mind map you can easily understand. The question can be asked from this, the top performer category, this, and if the statement wise question they will frame in RBI, so ye will saying what are the four pillars of SDQI. So you should remember that is completeness, timeliness, accuracy, and consistency, right? This is other tough questions they will not frame, right? Because this is IBPS paper, not UPSC paper. Are you getting my point? Fourth is CRR and SLR amendments directions 2026. Please, anyone can tell me what is CRR and SLR? Can anyone tell me what is CRR or SLR? What it is? It is the form of reserve deposit ratio, right? If you all know the monetary policy, you will understand what it is. It is the form of reverse deposit ratio. Reverse deposit ratio, can it be equal to zero? क्या कोई भी बैंक, क्या कोई भी मतलब any bank can have this RDR value equal to zero? Can they keep RDR value equal to zero? RDR होता है reserve deposit ratio, ठीक है? Reserve deposit ratio का there are two form, that is CRR and one is SLR. Are you getting my point? It is the form of reserve that bank has to keep. Why the bank is keeping reserve? To protect it from bank run. ये याद रखना. Are you getting my point? Or as RBI is the agency of the government of India, means RBI works for the financial sector on the behalf of government of India. So they have the power. The power is a wrong word. They can influence the banks to keep what? CRR and SLR. Why? Because it is the form of reserve deposit ratio. And RDR can never be equal to zero, right? Why? Because suppose karo कि Priyanka is a household. Priyanka is a household and she is going to bank, right? She is going to bank to keep the deposit. Okay, right? With this depends, suppose this is Axis Bank. Axis Bank with this deposit, what they will do? They will lend it to others. If this lending party, which is again a household, suppose that Ashish is a household, or any firm which is ABC Private Limited, they can take the loan from the bank. Priyanka, what she has deposited in the bank, from that only the bank used to lend. Okay, bank used to lend. So what is happening over here? If this person falls in the NPA category, is not returning the loan, will the bank able to return the Priyanka deposited interest rate? उसकी deposit amount भी return नहीं कर पाएगा. That's why RBI comes up with the solution of keeping reserve. All the deposit amount you can't loan. They told bank, जितना आपके पास deposit आ रहा है, you can't loan everything. What you have to do? You have to keep reserve, out of which in the case of bank run, if someone you are lending and he is not returning the money and the case gone to the bad loan, then for that you have to maintain RDR, that is reserve deposit ratio. That's why it should not be equal to zero. And two form of RDR is CRR and SLR. ठीक है, स्टैट्यूटरी लिक्विडिटी रेशियो एंड कैश रिजर्व रेशियो। कैश रिजर्व रेशियो इज द परसेंटेज ऑफ एनडीटीएल। एनडीटीएल क्या होता है? नेट डिमांड टाइम लायबिलिटी। देयर आर टू टाइप ऑफ लायबिलिटी बैंक है। देखो बैंक के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, इफ यू विल चेक द बैंक एसेट एंड लायबिलिटी, राइट, तो बैंक की एसेट क्या होती है? Try to understand, बैंक की एसेट लोन होती है। व्हाई? बिकॉज फ्रॉम दैट दे आर अर्निंग द इंटरेस्ट। एंड बैंक की लायबिलिटी क्या होती है? द लायबिलिटी इज द डिपॉजिट। So there are two kind of deposit. One is demand deposit, other is time deposit. Demand deposit are current account and savings account. Time deposit are what it is, FD and RD. Are everyone getting my point? What I'm trying to say? So these kind of a deposits are liability to the bank, right? So iske isi liability, whatever the deposit, iske certain percentage you have to keep. That is CRR. Are you getting my point? And SLR क्या होता है? That bank can also have some government securities, right? They can have some gold, right? There are some percentage that they can keep to avoid what? This is all has been done to avoid what? To avoid bank run. So RBI can influence. There is a very wrong word that RBI has the power. No, RBI does not have the power. RBI can only instruct the bank. They can only give the amendments. इसलिए word यहाँ amendment use किया गया, right? If you will have the economics clarity very much, then you will understand this news more clearly. Why I'm using such not power or ye. I'm using the amendment influence, right? So try to understand the single most exam fact that rates were not changed. The amendments were purely procedural and clarificatory, aligning old liquidity rules with 2025 banking laws amendment and removing definitions ambiguities. Try to understand. CRR क्या हो? CRR now it is 3% and SLR is 18% as of March 2026, which is uniform across scheduled commercial bank, small finances bank, regional rural bank. Please have a note. Payment banks and urban cooperative bank and cooperative bank. ठीक है? कितना है CRR? They should have 3% and SLR it is 18%. You should remember. It is according to the March 2026. So the fourth news is also very clear to everyone. Please tell me. The fourth circular news, that is CRR SLR amendments direction 2026. Is it clear to everyone? Is everyone is maintaining the A4 size paper that I have told you? Please try to understand. Now try to understand the fifth circular news, which is telling by Ombudsman Framework 2026, that is internal ombudsman plus RBIOS. And it is integrated ombudsman scheme. And it is very, 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 from my point of view, it is very important circular, right? Which can be question, can be asked both in prelims as well as your finance mains. I am directly telling you. This circular is most important. So try to make it down, right? For prelims, only the data and the section is important, I have told you. Now, context is that क्या होता है ombudsman framework? Please try to, anyone can tell me in the chat box, what is ombudsman framework? When a customer complaint is getting rejected by a bank, ठीक है? Where do they go? If a customer, right, the customer has the problem with the bank's loan lending rates they are giving, ठीक है? If the customers are facing problems according to the depositor interest rate that they are having, right? So where they should go? So they should tell, because RBI is the nodal agency of the bank, and RBI is, due to RBI only the customers also believe in the banking system, right? Why? Because RBI has the power under RBI Act of 1934, which gives the license under Banking Regulation Act of 1949. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my, to be a bank? Any company, first they will be, to be a bank, they should get a license from RBI na, under Banking Regulation Act of 1949. So if customer, if any household, try to understand, क्योंकि बैंक सबसे पहले कंपनी ही था, पहले बैंक बनने से पहले वो कंपनीज एक्ट ऑफ 2013 में वो इनकॉर्पोरेट हुआ होगा, then only they have get the license under banking regulation act of 1949 to be a bank. तो किसी भी कंपनी की सोल ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या होती है? किसी भी कंपनी की सोल ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या होती है? टू गिव, टू हैव मैक्सिमम रेवेन्यू, टू जनरेट मैक्सिमम प्रॉफिट, ठीक है, एंड टू गिव बेस्ट सर्विसेज, ठीक है? सो बैंक की भी यही कोशिश है, टू गिव बेस्ट सर्विसेज. बट इफ द कस्टमर हैज द कंप्लेंट रिगार्डिंग टू द सर्विसेज ऑफ एनी बैंक, then whom to go? बैंक ही से कंप्लेन हो गया, then RBI come up with the solution, that is ombudsman framework. In short, I am telling you, ठीक है? So the RBI runs a two-layer system. It is a two-layer system, ठीक है? Think of it is a two-floor building. पहला क्या है? The internal ombudsman, जहां भी आप A4 size नोट बना रहे हो, ombudsman framework डालो, उसकी key objectives डालो, and लिखो it is a two-layer integrated framework, ठीक है? पहला internal ombudsman, that is IO, which sits on the ground floor. It is important. Inside the bank, the RBI integrated ombudsman RBIUS, which sits on the first floor, which is outside the bank. Please note that down. At the RBI, a customer must exhaust the ground floor first. पहले आप जैसे if you will enter a building, what you will do? You will first exhaust the ground floor, then you will go to the first floor. ठीक है? So please try to understand the part A, that is the internal ombudsman IO. The legal authority is telling about the section 35A of the Banking Regulation Act of 1949. I have told you Banking Regulation Act क्यों आ रहा है. Now, who supports appoints one? Try to understand. Bank with, it is important for your prelims, 10 or more banking outlets in India as on 31st March 2025, which is small finance bank and payment banks are also now included. Which banks has been included? The question will be asked under the internal ombudsman IO, which is small finance bank and the payments bank are also now included. A bank crossing the threshold latter must set up a IO within 6 months. How much time it has been given? Duration 6 months. So you should note it down. Okay? Now try to understand. The IO ranks as a general manager. It acts as a general manager and its needs, it is important for your prelims, needs a minimum 7 years of experience. The deputy IO ranks as a DGM with at least 5 years. ये note it down करो. Age limit should be 70. Both must not have worked for any bank or its group. कोई भी bank or its subsidiary group में they should not have worked. Is it clear? Till here it is clear to everyone. Till here it is clear to everyone. Now please try to understand this. The tenure it is telling about the minimum 3 years, it is maximum total 5 years, including extensions. Okay? It is also including extension. Succession must begin with 3 months before the terms ends and the post must never lie vacant. The deputy IO steps in. Okay? Post will be never lie vacant. It is important. The IO is not the first stop counter. It reviews only complaints. ये क्या करता है? ये this will only what it will do. It will reviews only complaints. The bank has wholly rejected or only partially resolved it. या banks ने wholly reject कर दिया है the complaint that has been raised to integrated ombudsman, right? Or it has been partially resolved. ठीक है? Now reporting time कितना है? It is important. Appointment must be notified to the RBI CEPD within 5 working days. A performance report is filed quarterly. Exclamation. A complaint must reach to the IO within 30 days or where turn around time exists early enough to leave IO at least 10 days. Now part B. It is important because it is new. RBIOS 2026, the external last resort. Last resort क्यों बोल रहे हैं? Right? Because if you will check the RBI functions, if you will check the RBI functions, the functions of RBI is one last resort. RBI is lender's last resort. And who is the lenders? If you will check the RBI's functions, lenders are who? Lenders कौन है? Bank ही तो है. Are you getting my point, beta? Banks are the lenders. So RBI is the lender's last resort, means ये ऑपरेशन वैसे रेपो ऑपरेशन के लिए बोला जाता है. रेपो रेट आरबीआई इज डिसाइडिंग, राइट? आरबीआई इज डिसाइडिंग रेपो रेट थ्रू द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी. ये भी इंक्लूडेड है इन योर सर्कुलर, राइट? तो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. एंड हु इज डिसाइडिंग रेपो रेट? आरबीआई. थ्रू रेपो रेट बैंक बोरो फ्रॉम आरबीआई by giving their government securities. Are you getting my point? Other than SLR quota. So repo rate is a type of thing which is giving the initiative by what? RBI. ठीक है? So RBI is giving this kind of a facility to whom? Lenders. इसीलिए RBI को क्या बोला जाता है? Lenders last resort. जब कहीं से कुछ बैंक को नहीं नजर आता है, so they go to their last resort, that is RBI. वो किसके last resort? Lenders last resort. That's why it has been mentioned the external last resort. It's not lenders last resort, it is external last resort. ठीक है? RBIOS. One nation, one ombudsman. It has been the part B. Now it is effective. Effective date is important for your prelims. That is 1st July 2026. Repealing RBIOS 2021, which is free of cost to the complaints. ठीक है? Please read it. Which banks it covers? It covers banks, NBFCs, non-banks, PPIs as well. Credit Information Company, that is CIC also. Is it clear? The compensation caps rose sharply. ठीक है? Financial consecution from rupees 20 lakh to 30 lakh as 50% increase. We noted down. Harassment and mental agony from rupees 1 lakh to 3 lakh, that is has been tripled. कितना? harassment and mental agony को कितना ट्रिपल कर दिया गया, that is from 1 lakh to 3 lakh. There is no upper limit on the value of complaint. There is no upper limit. It has been set that can be filed through the compensations remain capped. Is it clear? And this is important for your prelims. Please note it down. Entities that has been covered by RBI US 2026 is all commercial banks, that is public and private sector, small finance bank, that is SFB, regional rural bank, cooperative bank. It is important, cooperative bank में एक bracket में आप भी लिख लीजिएगा, with a deposit size of rupees 50 crore or more. It has been covered the entities, ठीक है, under what? RBIOS, ठीक है. Now non-banking financial companies, that is NBFC, which is deposit taking and non-deposit taking with customer interference. Now payment system operators, which is prepayment instruments, PPI. With an example, it is more clear, but I will not read it because the PDF is being shared in the Telegram channel. So everything I won't be read it. Okay? Now, till fifth circular, everything is clear. Fifth circular तक किसी को कोई doubt है? Please tell me, let me know. Everyone should respond in the class, right? If anyone is facing the problem. Now, the sixth circular, which is important, and it is one of the important topic for your NABARD as well as your RBI and whatever regulatory examinations you are giving. It is important circular, which is priority sector lending, which is PSL amendment direction to 2026. Okay, I don't need to make you understand PSL, but you should understand PSL is one of the major topic that has been mentioned in your ESI as well as financeable, right? Because it is linked with the unemployment, it can be linked with the inequality, right? So try to understand PSL is one of the most important topic. Okay, so we will cover it. Concept PSL क्या होता है? PSL is the RBI tool. It is one of the qualitative tool. Try to understand. To ensure banks don't lend only to large, right? Because if you will check, banks should banks should lend, but according to the various sectors. Which sectors need how much amount and which sector needs improvement, according to that bank should lend. अगर बैंक को अगर lending के लिए दिया जाएगा ना, if banks with RBI will only tell, okay, there is no concept of PSL, bank दो आप जिसको lend करना चाहते हैं you can lend. So what RBI will do? RBI will check on the concept of external benchmark. External benchmark I have taught you in my RBI Grade B course, and it is a very good concept. External benchmark. अभी MCLR चल रहा है. I'm not going to tell you in detail. But bank what they will do? They will tell कि we have a list of prime customer. Prime customer क्या हो गया? जैसे अंबानी, अडानी. This is our prime customers. And we also have a list of non-prime customers. ठीक है? And bank will say कि नॉन प्राइम कस्टमर में तो हमारी लोन की रीपेमेंट, द कलेक्शन ऑफ आवर लोन रीपेमेंट इज वेरी हाई, रिस्क प्रोफाइल इज वेरी हाई, बट इन आवर प्राइम कस्टमर द रिस्क प्रोफाइल इज वेरी लो, एंड आरबीआई हैज डजंट सेट एनी बार टू विच सेक्टर्स वी हैव टू गिव, सो ओनली लेंड टू प्राइम कस्टमर, डोंट लेंड टू नॉन प्राइम कस्टमर. एंड what the bank will do, please try to understand, ये small concept मैं बता रहा हूँ. Bank will tell if by mistake if they will lend to any non-prime customer, what they will do? They will charge interest rate very high. मतलब अगर इन्हें 12% ले रहे हैं तो इनसे 7% लेंगे. Is it clear? This is the मनमानी of a bank will do if the RBI will not set some qualitative or quantitative tools. इसीलिए qualitative और quantitative tools of monetary policy बनाया जाता है. Please have a look. So PSL is one of the qualitative tools. तो बैंक कांट डू दी मनमानी बिकॉज एक्चुअली बैंक एक कंपनी है. प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. और कंपनी की ऑब्जेक्टिव होती है टू ओनली अर्न प्रॉफिट. वो उसने लाइसेंस ले लिया अंडर द बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1949, तो वो बैंक बन गया, बट एक्चुअली इट इज अ कंपनी. इसीलिए पीएसएल कंसेप्ट हैज बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड टू डिस्ट्रीब्यूट द परसेंटेज ऑफ द डिपॉजिट दैट यू आर हैविंग ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ व्हाट? ए एंड बी सी, दैट इज एडजस्टेड नेट बैंक क्रेडिट फैसिलिटी. मैंने बहुत डिटेल में ये पीएसएल समझाया अपने आरबीआई ग्रेड बी कोर्स में. Only in 10 to 15 minutes, I can't explain you each and every term, right? So try to understand which sectors, that is agriculture, MSME, education, housing, weaker sections, right? Which are targeted are a set of percentage of A and B, C, ठीक है? Or credit equivalent of off balance sheet exposure, whichever is higher, right? That is COBSE. You can read it everywhere. Important term, एक highlight important है, that is small finance bank. बाकी सारी चीजें सेम है still. Because if you will check the category of the classification of banks, that is the domestic bank or foreign banks with greater than equal to 20 branches, please note it down. Those who are reading for the first time, please note it down. But if you have some concept of finance, you can understand that domestic bank means commercial bankings, and foreign banks में foreign banks की branches 20 से ऊपर है, तो what percentage they have to give sector wise? That is 40%. First they have to complete this target that has been given by under the PSL. Then only they can lend to their prime or non-prime customers. Are what I'm telling you. Regional rural bank because it is under the rural areas, right? You can use it for RBI as well. Okay, that general it is general awareness and you can use it anywhere. Regional rural bank because it is located in the rural areas, right? It is located under the rural areas. So what you can see, राइट इसीलिए इसका परसेंटेज ऑफ पीएसएल इज हाई राइट बिकॉज अगर आप देखोगे ना पीएसएल टारगेट इट इज एग्रीकल्चर एमएसएमई एजुकेशन हाउसिंग वीकर सेक्शन तो रूरल एरियाज में ये चीजें आपको ज्यादा दिखेंगी एग्रीकल्चर एमएसएमई एजुकेशन हाउसिंग एंड वीकर सेक्शन दैट्स व्हाई द रीजनल रूरल इन शॉर्ट आई एम टेलिंग यू द परसेंटेज ऑफ पीएसएल टारगेट इज वेरी हाई small and the important point why this is was in the circular news right it is just due to small finance bank small finance banks under the category of differentiated bank it has been reduced. पहले earlier they have given the 75%. Now it has been 60%. Small finance bank दो तरीका से आपके न्यूज में आ रहा है SDQI में भी ये टॉप कर रहा था. You should remember when I was teaching you the SDQI ranking reports, small finance bank was getting in the top list. And here also it is in the news. Why? Because the PSL target has been reduced from 75% to 60%. Now urban cooperative bank में 60%. Are you kidding? Is the news still here? It is clear to everyone. Now try to understand sub targets, the nested doll structure. Agriculture, you should understand sector wise भी क्या क्या distribution दिया हुआ है, right? It is aggregate. ये तो 40% बैंक को target पूरा करना है. But sector wise what it is? Agriculture 18%, inside which 14% go to non-corporate farmers, inside which 10% must go to small and marginal farmers. Each inner target must be met independently. Micro enterprises is 7.5%. Weaker section is 12%, regional rural bank is 15%. What is the plain terms? Small and marginal farmers are defined by land holding, not income. Are you getting a point? Please note it down. Marginal up to 1 hectare, small 1-2 hectares. Now, key lending limits that counts as PSL. Please have a look. This can be asked in your prelims as well as mains. Individual farmers loan against negotiable warehouses receipts. It is rupees 90 lakh. 12-month tenure against other warehouses receipts which is rupees 60 lakh. FPO and FPC is rupees 10 crore. Agriculture infrastructure is rupees 100 crore per borrower. It is how much? 100 crore per borrower. Now, education is rupees 25 lakh which is vocational included. Okay? Housing metro is POP greater than equal to 50 lakh. Rupees 50 lakh per rupees 60 lakh cost cap. Small town is less than 10 lakh, rupees 35 lakh slash rupees 44 lakh. So every data you don't need to understand. Just you मतलब आपको एक बार सबकॉन्शियस में 2 बार 3 बार रीड करके ये देखना कि ऐसा कुछ डेटा मेंशन है. When the questions can be framed it. अगर कोई टफ क्वेश्चन बना तो आपका सबकॉन्शियस उस एग्जाम हॉल में काम कर जाएगा. Are you getting my point? इसलिए मल्टीपल टाइम्स इसको आज ही के दिन 2-3 बार रीड कर लेना दिस पॉइंट्स को. बाकी तो आपको समझ में आ गया होगा ये सारी चीजें. ये पॉइंट को 2-3 बार रीड कर लेना. Then in this subconscious it will getting feed. ठीक है right now we have to answer this yeah right it has been reduced last year it has been reduced to small finance bank में 60% हो गया. Now social infrastructure schools water sanitation it is rupees 8 crore. Healthcare in tier 2 and tier 6 rupees 12 crore. Renewable energy में कितना है? Utilizes rupees 35 crore. Household rupees 10 lakh. You should remember. NBFC on lending agriculture is rupees 10 lakh. Micro small enterprises that is rupees 20 lakh. HFC on lending for housing that is housing finance company is rupees 20 lakh. The cost of missing PSL target is what? RIDF penalty. अब मैं ये बहुत डिटेल में नहीं बता सकता कि if someone is not getting to मतलब if some bank are not because the reward is given na PSL certificates are giving if they are completing the targets which has been given sector wise. ठीक है? If any bank is not fulfilling the target, then it has two options. एक है RIDF fund में, which is the fund of NABARD, right? उसमें the NABARD को उन्हें देना पड़ता है with small interest. मतलब NABARD is playing very small interest rate according to that, and it is very मतलब बैंक के लिए बहुत खराब बात है, right? And another is interbank deposit भी होता है. I'm not going to tell you in that because I have already explained in my course. So I have very short time, so I can't tell you each and everything. So please try to understand the cost of missing PSL target. If any banks will miss it, पहला क्या होगा? RIDF penalty. ठीक है? A bank that falls short must park money with NABARD, as I have told you. That is Rural Infrastructure Development Fund, or NHB SIDBI Mudra, at below market interest rate. Is it clear? Which is effectively a penalty. The bigger the shortfall, the lower interest rate shortfall under 5 percentage points. It is very much low. Which is ये calculation कैसे किया जाता है? Bank rate minus 2 pp, 5 to under 10 pp, minus 3 pp, 10 pp and above. It is not, data is not important. Just you need to understand कि क्या होता है if the bank will fail to fulfill the PSLs targeted. ठीक है? तो एक तो तरीका RIDF है, दूसरा भी है which I have explained you in the course. ठीक है? Now, monitoring. Quarterly PSL data within 15 days of quarter end, annual data within 1 month, regional rural bank report to NABARD, not directly to RBI. So bonus क्या है? An RBI ESMA MU signed on 27th January 2026 restored EU recognition to India CCP such as CCIL. ठीक है? So please try to understand ये ये जो डेटा पॉइंट है ना, ये समझ लो. टोटल PSL कितना है? 40%. FB is 40%, रीजनल रूरल बैंक इतना, एंड इट इज, ठीक है. एग्रीकल्चर, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. ये डेटा को एक टेबल बना के रख लो. इट कैन बी आस्क्ड. एग्रीकल्चर सब टारगेट NCF 14%, SMF इट इज 10%. ठीक है. एंड नाउ दिस इज UCB टारगेट. UCB टारगेट क्या है? टोटल PSL इज 60%, micro enterprises 7.5%, weaker section 12%. It is only whatever the data it has been shown, it is important, right? Now, this is something, a new modification which has been introduced, that is 7th circular news, which is modified intervention submission scheme, MISS KCC, financial year 2025-2026. And this, you will also see this scheme, MIS scheme, in your flagship scheme PIB, right? It has also been mentioned in your circular. It has also been mentioned in your PIB, that is flagship schemes, and it has also been shown in the various newspaper. So this is important news from my point of view, because it is repeating in circular as well as in your flagship scheme as well as in your various newspaper that I have covered, that is banking and finance news में जो मैंने cover किया है, right? So that's why I have seen this news in all three. Is it clear? So please try to understand the concept. The concept is what? The scheme gives farmer, it is easy to understand, cheap short-term crop credit through Kisan Credit Card, that is KCC, and rewards timely repayment. Is it clear? That is Kisan Credit Card ke through what they are giving? Short-term crop credit. Is it clear? And rewards timely repayment. And if the farmer will repay the amount timely, then they will also get an reward. And इसमें जब बस data होगा, the data you have to note it down कि किस percentage पे क्या, what it has been given. ठीक है? Now please note it down. The farmer maths most tested. The lending rate to farmer is 7%. The government gives banks a 1.5 subvention. मतलब अगर ये क्या है? Because if it is something which is related to farmer agriculture, तो बैंक, मैं थोड़ा सा यहाँ आपको डाइवर्ट समझाने के लिए कर रहा हूँ. बैंक कम्स विद द सब्सिडी. व्हाई? ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. नॉट सॉरी, बैंक, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कम्स विद द सब्सिडी. और ये 1.5% सबवेंशन एक सब्सिडी है दैट हैज बीन गिवन बाय गवर्नमेंट, राइट? बिकॉज अगर सब्सिडी दिया जाएगा ना, तो देखो, इन माय कोर्स आई हैव मेड यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस इज एग्रीगेट डिमांड which is demanded by mostly consumer, और ये सप्लायर साइड से होता है, ये एग्रीगेट सप्लाई होता है, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस आउटपुट इज गेटिंग डिसाइडेड. देखो, आप समझ के देखो सब्सिडी देने से फायदा क्या होता है. And this is the equilibrium point, and this is output. Output method is one of the GDP calculation. ठीक है? Output method या production method is one of the method by which we calculate GDP. And this is average price level. This is APL. This is average price level. Try to understand, if government is giving subsidy on any scheme, through scheme, government tries to give subsidy. It is also a MISS. It is a scheme. अब scheme की आपको objective समझ में आएगी. Whenever government is giving scheme, providing scheme, what they are trying to give? They are trying to give subsidy. Subsidy से क्या होता है? Subsidy is one of the determinant of aggregate supply. Subsidy जो होता है, the government subsidy is one of the determinant. Determinant means factor of what? Aggregate supply. Subsidy, what does it does? It increases aggregate supply. Supply बढ़ जाता है. Why? Because आपकी कुछ part तो government पे कर दे रही है, तो obviously farmer will increase the supply. When the supply is getting increased, what it is happening? Output is also increasing and decrease in the average price level. You can check now, the price level is here. right? Here is the aggregate supply. It has been increased. So country is having increase in GDP as well as decrease in average price level. Decrease in average price level का मतलब क्या होता है? Decrease in inflation. तो एग्रीगेट सप्लाई कंट्रोल करने से बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स कंट्रोल हो जाते हैं. सो जस्ट आई हैव मेड यू अंडरस्टैंड, जब भी आपको ये पॉइंट कोई भी स्कीम दिख रही है उसकी मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन गवर्नमेंट की रहती है. सो प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. द गवर्नमेंट गिव्स बैंक अ 1.5% व्हाट. अब ये डेटा बस आपको याद रखना है. हाँ हाँ, लिमिट हैज नॉट बीन इंक्रीज, जस्ट वी विल नोट इट डाउन. ठीक है, वॉट एवर इट हैज बीन आई विल टेल यू. बस मैंने सब्सिडी की पॉइंट तुम्हें बताई कि यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि सब्सिडी का मतलब क्या होता है. रेस्ट द डेटा इज दैट विच विल रीड. 1.5 subvention plus 3 prompt repayment incentive to the farmer. So a farmer who repays on times on effective 4%, that is 7 से 3% के बीच में, that is suppose करो कि loan limit will get a reward. ठीक है, अगर ये will effectively 4% will get a reward. Loan limit rupees 3 lakh per farmer per year. The allied activities, that is allied activities किसके लिए? Dairy, fishery, poultry. Sub limit is 2 lakh. Is it clear? Post harvest shortage benefit for small marginal farmers is up to what? 6 months. Reduced in our WDRA approved warehouses against a new negotiable warehouse receipts to prevent what? Distress sell. Severe calamity subvention. अगर कोई severe calamity आ गया तो उसमें subvention what it has been given. याद रखना, up to 3 years, maximum 5 years. कितना है? In case of this, up to 3 years, maximum 5 years. The benefit is valid for maximum 1 year and is forfeited on delayed payment. Is it clear? It is forfeited on delayed payment. This is all about the seventh news that you should understand. Circular news. Now, eighth circular news, which is important, that is FEMA. FEMA that they mentioned in your syllabus of RBI in the finance topic, right? So कोई भी circular news that is coming and if it is repeating in newspaper as well, so it is important for your upcoming paper. ठीक है, so we will read it. Now, FEMA, which is Export Import of Goods and Services Regulation 2026. The context what it is talking about, this consolidated and simplified Indian foreign trade plus rules to improve ease of doing businesses. Please try to understand the period of bring export earnings back to India. That is realization. That is the period of bring export earnings back to India. That is the realization. Why the realization should be there? बिकॉज देखो, अब मैंने एक ग्राफ आपको पढ़ाया था, ये ट्राई करको. फेमा क्यों मैं बता रहा हूँ? फेमा तो आप सभी जानते होगे व्हाट इट इज, राइट? बट व्हाई इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट? एग्रीगेट, इन शॉर्ट आई एम ट्राइंग टू एक्सप्लेन. एंड दिस इज एग्रीगेट डिमांड. ठीक है, aggregate demand, this is aggregate demand. Downward sloping graph is aggregate demand and this is aggregate supply. Please try to understand. Okay, and this is average price level and this is output, right? Try to understand. Aggregate demand की जो होती है determinant, that is consumption plus investment plus government spending plus x minus m, that is export minus import. X minus m, it is export minus import. So try to understand, if any country's export is getting increased rather than import, M matlab import, means its aggregate demand is getting increased. And if aggregate demand is getting increased, obviously GDP of that country will getting increased. समझ में आया? अब इस वर्ड को पढ़ने की कोशिश करो. The period to bring export earnings back to India. ज्यादा समझ में आएगा. Why? Because if the period to bring the export earnings back to India will getting increased, what will have to do? It means that realization. ठीक है, was extended because it will ultimately increase the output of a country. It will, though inflation will be there, but it will increase the GDP of a country. Was extended to, अब ये data important है for your prelims, 15 months, earlier 9 or 12. A single export declaration form, that is EDF, now covers goods and software. Small value transaction up to rupees 10 lakh per invoice gets simplified compliance. ठीक है, now please have a look of this. International investment position, that is September 2025. External liabilities, that is USD 1,464 billion. Exceeded external assets USD 1,189 billion. To the net IIP is about 275 billion USD. ठीक है, meaning India is a net debtor. I have told you, import is more than export. It owes the world more than the world owes it. X minus M the category. अगर ये समझ में आएगा, then this current affair circular news is nothing. So that data just you have to cram. International investment position, that is September 2025, external liabilities, which is USD 1,464 billion, exceeded external assets, that is USD 1,189 billion. So the net IIP is about 275 billion, which you should, the data you should cram. Why? Because it is important for your prelims examination. So meaning India is a net debtor. It owes the world more than the world owes it. Is that clear? Right? So think about, if you are very strong in the static portion, तो आपकी करंट अफेयर्स कुछ नहीं है. आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू. इफ यू आर वीक एट स्टैटिक पोर्शन, देन, एंड वो भी स्टैटिक पोर्शन आपको कंसेप्चुअली स्ट्रांग होना चाहिए रादर देन मगिंग इट अप. ठीक है. सो द नाइन्थ न्यूज विच इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर द सर्कुलर इज निर्यात प्रोत्साहन, दैट इज ईपीएम, which is export credit subvention, and this is news also been repeated in flagship scheme as well as your newspaper. So this is also very important circular, replacing the old interest equalization scheme that is effective from 2nd January 2026. This gives MSME exporters with a valid Udyam registration up to what? 2.75 per annum interest subvention on pre and post shipment. ये याद रखना, ये बहुत बार क्वेश्चंस रिपीट मैं देख रहा हूँ वेरियस टेस्ट सीरीज एंड एवरीथिंग में भी, इंक्लूडिंग अस. 2.75 per annum interest subvention pre पे भी and post shipment rupees export credit capped at rupees 50 lakh. Surely the question will be framed. ठीक है. Per exporter per financial year, no pro rata. It covers a positive list of roughly 75% of HSN tariff lines and exclude NPAs and deemed export. किसे exclude कर दिया गया है? NPA और deemed export. ठीक है. Deemed का मतलब होता है which tells that it to be. मतलब they, मतलब जैसे कि suppose there is an college and there is a deemed college which will behave also like a college. ठीक है. So try to understand, if any company is giving what a draft to raise the fund, और एक डीम प्रोस्पेक्टस भी होता था. डीम प्रोस्पेक्टस कहने का मतलब है कि इट इज बिहेविंग लाइक द ओरिजिनल प्रोस्पेक्टस. तो डीम्ड का मतलब ये होता है. ठीक है. नाउ प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द की बेनिफिट्स एंड इंटरवेंशंस. द स्कीम प्रोवाइड्स डायरेक्ट फाइनेंशियल रिलीफ थ्रू सेवरल की पिलर्स. पहला क्या है? इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन ऑन एक्सपोर्ट क्रेडिट. इसमें जहां भी डेटा है, प्लीज नोट इट डाउन इन योर A4 साइज पेपर, that exporters will receive what? 2.75% subventions on interest cost and pre and post that I have told you, capped between 50 lakh importer exporter code, that is IEC. Surely the question will be framed. Second key benefit and intervention क्या है? Collateral support and guarantees, that is CGT MSME, with the scheme which provides credit guarantee to reduce what? Need of hard collateral. ठीक है. Which guarantees coverage up to 85% for what? MSME, that is micro and small exporters, and 65% for medium exporters. Please note it down. Next key benefit is e-commerce export assistance, which includes structure credit facilities for digital exporters. This offers direct credit up to rupees 50 lakh and overseas inventory credit up to rupees 5 crore. ठीक है. With an interest subvention of 2.75%. Now the last key benefit is alternative trade instruments, which is telling about the scheme promotes export factoring by providing interest subventions on factoring costs to ease what? Working capital constraint. ठीक है. And अब इस चीज में अगर if you have read, please try to read this Niryat Disha. What it is? Niryat Disha is a non-financial sub-scheme under the Export Promotion Mission (EPM), which is designed to boost what? Readiness, competitiveness for what? MSME and the first-line exporters. So you can use this reference wherever you are using any ESI topic which is related to MSME segment. The question has been framed. So you can put this data of this scheme and circular in that, and you will surely get a good marks in that. समझ में आया? So implemented by DGFT, it provides end-to-end support. I'm not going to read it everything. Please try to understand. ठीक है. Now ये समझ लेना. इट ऑफर्स टारगेटेड सपोर्ट थ्रू द फॉलोइंग कोर पिलर्स. पहला क्या है? ट्रेस. देखो हाउ द आरबीआई विल फ्रेम द क्वेश्चन. अंडर द निर्यात प्रोत्साहन, दिस निर्यात दिशा, द टारगेटेड सपोर्ट थ्रू द फॉलोइंग कोर पिलर्स. वन ऑफ द पिलर इज अ ट्रेस. ठीक है. जिसमें व्हाट इज द फुल फॉर्म ऑफ ए? सो यू शुड रिमेंबर, ट्रेस का मतलब क्या है? ट्रेड रेगुलेशन, एक्रेडिटेशन एंड कंप्लायंस इनेबलमेंट. सो प्लीज, जहां भी आप A4 साइज पेपर में यू हैव मेकिंग द नोट्स, please note it down the full form of it, because sometimes in IBPS I have seen they are asking such type of a question. Second is market access support, that is MAS. MAS means help businesses explore new countries and regions, participate in global trade fairs, and organize buyer and seller meets. Third is flow. You should remember the uh, topic, that is facilitating logistics overseas warehousing fulfillment. क्या है? Facilitating logistics overseas warehousing fulfillment, and insights, which is telling about the integrated support for trade intelligence and facilitations. ठीक है? Facilitations, right? So you should read it on your own, this with full form. ठीक है? Now, ये mind map है about the Niryat Disha, right, and Niryat Proshahan. For your last time revision, just a 1 minute revision, you can use this mind map as well. Okay. Now, the 10th circular news, which is telling about approval and government agreements. Please try to understand. It is easy. One line. Bank of Baroda, what it is telling about, got the final approval for standalone primary dealer, that is SPD subsidiary, infusing up to rupees 2000 crore. ठीक है. Now an SPD is an NBFC dealing exclusively in government securities. और ये समझ लो, second one liner news है, SMBC Japan, it is received in principle approval to convert its India's branches into wholly owned subsidiary with minimum paid up voting equity of rupees 500 crore. Skydo became one of the first payment aggregator cross border, that is PACB. Skydo, याद रखना, one liner questions can be framed. Entities, that is cash free 1st July, and PACB framework caps transaction at rupees 25 lakh per unit, and mandates enhanced due to diligence above rupees 2.5 lakh. The RBI GNCTD agreement, which is under Section 21A RBI Act of 1934, made the RBI bank to the Delhi government. Delhi WMA limit was fixed at rupees 890 crore. Is it clear? Now, the Payment Regulatory Board, that is PRB, held first meeting as statutory body, replacing the internal BPSS chaired by the governor with the 3 central government nominees. Right? This is all about the news. Okay? And this is all about the circular of January. We have discussed there were 10th circular, which is important. Now I'm going to make you understand. In 1 hour, I have discussed everything related to the January, right, in detail. Now we will going to discuss the February as well. तो ये जो आपने A4 size का पेपर बनाया है, प्लीज जनवरी को अलग कर लीजिएगा, because when we are solving the MCQ after covering all, you will understand, you will able to answer each and every MCQ quickly. ठीक है? अब ये जनवरी मंथ को अलग करके फरवरी मंथ का let's start now. So February, the first is VRR 2020 structural shift, first circular, which is important. The concept is telling about the VRR has been introduced 2019, attracts what? Long-term foreign investment into Indian debt foreign portfolio investors, except to lock-in exchange for freedom for short-term maturity and concentration limits. कितना इतना याद रखना, VRR लिखो और उसमें बस एक पॉइंट लिख लो, short term maturity and concentration limit. What it has been changed? It has been effective from 1st April 2026. The separate VRR investment bucket, which is about rupees 2.5 lakh crore, was abolished and merged into green route ceiling. Government securities कितना हुआ? 6%. State development loan is 2%. Corporate bond is 15% of outstanding. ठीक है? State development loan, it is 2%. Government securities, it's 6%. Please note it down. And corporate bond is 15% of outstanding. ठीक है? Now try to understand. Stock. FPI must still retain at least 75% of their allotment investment, but can now exit after minimum 3-year retention. कितना year retention पे exit कर सकते हैं? After 3-year retention, even if they originally committed to a longer period. Even if they are committed for 5 or 7 years, they can exit after 3 years of retention. Is it clear? So FPI must still retain at least, ये याद रखना, 75% of their allotted investment. This is all about the news. If you will read the example, you will understand it clearly. A fund that invested in 2023, committing to 7 years, can lawfully exit by 2026 once it has crossed 3 years. This is only important point that you should understand under VRR auction. Is it clear? So this is first circular news which is important for February month. Now, second, it is MSME Lending Amendment Direction 2026. The context, please have a look. The context is telling small businesses often have no asset to pledge. Small businesses often has no assets to pledge, which blocks them from credit. So the RBI has doubled the collateral free lending limit. तो आरबीआई ने क्या कर दिया है, एमएसएमई लेंडिंग अमेंडमेंट्स, ठीक है, डबल कर दिया है कोलेटरल फ्री लेंडिंग. दैट इज मैंडेटरी कोलेटरल फ्री लिमिट हैज बीन गिवन टू, एंड इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, 10 लाख से क्या कर दिया गया है, 20 लाख. फॉर व्हाट? स्मॉल बिजनेसेस ऑफ्टन हैव नो एसेट टू प्लेज, तो विच ब्लॉक्स देम फॉर क्रेडिट. तो आरबीआई ने क्या कर दिया है, डबल कर दिया कोलेटरल फ्री लेंडिंग लिमिट, दैट इज 10 लाख फॉर 20 लाख फॉर whom? For micro and small enterprises, including PMEGP units, that banks are strictly prohibited from demanding collateral up to rupees this amount. Okay, that is 20 lakh. Bank must at the discretion extend collateral free loans up to rupees 25 lakh for the borrowers with satisfactory credit history. It is obvious. Per borrower a policy, effective date याद रखना 1st April 2026 it has been implemented. Now a borrower may still voluntary pledge assets, say for a lower rate. That is allowed and it is not a violation. Is it clear? So now the third circular news which is important, that is telling about the, it is not that important but you should read it. That is IRAC norms, rural cooperative concept refresher, which is provisioning. Provisioning क्या है? Can anyone tell me? Provisioning is the method of having bank should maintain own capital. Own capital. Bank, why bank is maintaining their own capital other than RDR? ये ऐसा कोई रिजर्व रखने वाला चीज नहीं है. When the bank is facing more NPA account in the condition of write-off, right? RBI comes with the concept of Basel norms 3. बेसल नॉर्म 3 इंप्लीमेंट किया गया. बेसल नॉर्म 3 में बताया गया कि आपको कुछ क्रेडिट, आपने जो क्रेडिट दिया उसके अकॉर्डिंग आपको कोई रिस्क वेट असाइन किया जाएगा बाय आरबीआई, राइट? कि आपने ये लोन दिया है तो ये इस रिस्क वेट के अंदर आ रहा है, 100% रिस्क वेट है या 75% रिस्क वेट है, उसके अकॉर्डिंग आपको सीआरएआर बताया जाएगा, दैट इज क्रेडिट रिस्क वेट एसेट. और प्रोविजनिंग आपको इसके अकॉर्डिंग रखना होगा. तो प्रोविजनिंग क्या होता है? इन द केस ऑफ बैड लोन्स, bank should maintain the provisioning of whatever the bad loan they have given to the customer, right? तो ऑब्वियसली देखो ये किसके अंडर आया, ये आईआरसी नॉर्म्स अंडर रूरल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स. तो प्रोविजनिंग, प्रोविजनिंग क्या होता है? टू बाय एसेट, दैट इज स्टैंडर्ड. स्टैंडर्ड मतलब अगर एनपीए अकाउंट चला गया है, दैट स्टैंडर्ड होता है, सब स्टैंडर्ड केस होता है, डाउटफुल केस होता है या लॉस केस होता है. इट इज, दिस इज द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ एनपीए दैट आई हैव टोल्ड यू. ठीक है, एनपीए मतलब नॉन परफॉर्मिंग एसेट. ठीक है, दैट इज अंडर द क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ बैंक. व्हेन यू विल स्टडी बैड लोन्स उसमें समझ में आएगा. तो प्रोविजनिंग एक बेसल नॉर्म की कैटेगरी है जिसमें वी हैव टू कीप इट. तो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड प्रोविजनिंग बाय एसेट क्लास विच इज स्टैंडर्ड 0.25 1%. स्टब स्टैंडर्ड के लिए कितना है? 15% विच इज सिक्योर्ड, एंड 25% अनसिक्योर्ड के लिए लिख लो. डाउटफुल के लिए 25 से 100%. इफ द लोन कम्स अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ डाउटफुल, देन उसमें आपको प्रोविजनिंग 100% भी रखना पड़ सकता है, 25. और लॉस के केस में तो एग्जैक्टली 100%. ठीक है, तो ये एक चार्ट बना के आप प्लीज हैव अ लुक कि ये आपके लिए क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ नॉलेज के लिए भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि प्रोविजनिंग किसके किसके केस में, एंड क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ एनपीए में व्हाट वी हैव टू कीप. स्टैंडर्ड के लिए यू हैव टू कीप 0.25 से 1, सब स्टैंडर्ड के लिए 15, राइट? सिक्योर्ड के लिए 15 एंड अनसिक्योर्ड के लिए 25, डाउटफुल के केस में 25 to 100% एंड लॉस के केस में 100%. नाउ a CC and OD account is out of order if the limit is exceeded or there are no proper credits for what? 90 days. Upgrading an NPA back to standard now needs full repayment of principal plus interest. Now, not a token payment. The SMA classification is broken down into the 3 subcategories, that is SMA 0, SMA 1 and SMA 2. 1 से 30 days, 31 से 60 days. This is the classification of NPA. Is it clear? SMA 1 समझ में आ रहा है, SMA 2, SMA 3. So you should remember it. ठीक है, अब ये सारी चीजों को आप याद रखिएगा. तो IRAC रूरल कोऑपरेटिव कंसेप्ट रिफ्रेशर में नॉर्म्स क्या है, प्लीज हैव अ लुक. ठीक है, नाउ द फोर्थ सर्कुलर व्हिच इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर February month is the commercial bank credit facilities plus concentration risk, right? So please try to understand the big shift. Commercial bank क्या होता है? Please anyone tell me, commercial क्या मतलब क्या होता है? कमर्शियल का मतलब होता है कि बैंक विच हैज एन ऑब्जेक्टिव टू ओनली जनरेट प्रॉफिट. आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू कि बैंक बिफोर बीइंग अ बैंक बाय टेकिंग द लाइसेंस ऑफ यूनिवर्सल बैंक, दैट इज फॉलोइंग ऑल कंडीशन ऑफ बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1949, राइट? दे आर फर्स्ट कंपनी. तो किसी भी कंपनी का ऑब्जेक्टिव क्या होता है? टू जनरेट मैक्सिमम रेवेन्यू. एनी फर्म हैज द ऑब्जेक्टिव टू जनरेट मैक्सिमम रेवेन्यू. सिमिलरली कमर्शियल का मतलब यही होता है, commercial are the type of bank's objective where banks की objective here to generate maximum profit. So any commercial bank, which means any bank which has the intention to only generate profit, they are not in the objective of to cooperate, वो cooperative bank हो जाएगा. Commercial का मतलब होता है the bank which has an only objective to generate profit. समझ में आया? तो कमर्शियल बैंक क्रेडिट फैसिलिटीज प्लस कंसंट्रेशन रिस्क, जो भी एचडीएफसी एसबीआई आप देख रहे हो, दे ऑल आर अंडर द कमर्शियल बैंक, व्हिच मींस दे only have the intention to generate profit. समझ में आया? So please try to understand. There is a big shift. Acquisition finance is now getting permitted. For the first time, banks can lend to companies for acquiring other companies. Banks can now lend to companies, those who want to acquire other companies. This is the first time step that it has been taken. But the RBI has wrapped this new freedom in tight and safeguard through the three king linked notification that act as a sieve. 211 enables the activity, 212 caps concentration, ये याद रखना, ये लिख लो in your A4 size paper. 213 which demands extra capital. Borrowers eligibility for acquisition finance, please try to understand. Minimum net worth कितना होना चाहिए and only applicable for commercial bank. Rupees 500 crore and profit in last three consecutive year. It should be, अगर it should come under the category of to have a eligibility for acquisition finance. Worth should be rupees 500 crore and profit in last 3 years should be consecutive 3 years profit should be there. Funding follows the 75 is to 25 rule. Banks fund at most 75%, borrowers bring at least 25% of its own equity. The post acquisition debt equity ratio cannot exceed 3 is to 1, which is, and banks cannot fund related party acquisition. अब ये debt equity क्यों हुआ? Because the bank, if bank is giving loan, it is debt, and if any company is getting finance, which is 25%, means they will also, they can, how they can get the money? They can either get the money through equity, means equity is what? By giving their percentage of shares to the public. आप जैसे ग्रो ऐप या जीरोधा यूज करते हो ना, तो थ्रू इक्विटी व्हाट दे आर हैविंग, दे आर गिविंग देयर परसेंटेज ऑफ शेयर होल्डिंग सो दैट द पीपल कैन इन्वेस्ट इन देयर प्रोजेक्ट. तो अगर किसी कंपनी को एक्वायर करना है दूसरा कंपनी, so bank will only give the 75%, that is a debt. The bank is giving debt only 75%, इसलिए इसको 3 बोला गया है. And if and rest of the amount, that is 25%, the company has to bring it on its own to acquire other company. And how the company can get things? Through equity. Equity is what? Equity is a type of financial market concept. It is a type of recapitalization by which company issues their shares and give their percentage of shareholding to generate fund from public. समझ में आया? In short, I am telling you. ठीक है? So ये 3:1 ratio में होना चाहिए. And banks cannot fund related to party acquisition. Concentration limit. The 40-20-20 rule. What it is telling about? As of tier 1 capital, aggregate capital market exposure is 40%. Direct investment is 20%. Acquisition finance is 20%. Example, you can check. Other key limits which is important for your examination. A mandatory 40% haircut on equity shares pledged by borrowers. So maximum LTV कितना, loan to value ratio is 60%. Bank guarantees exchange for brokers need at least 50% collateral, for which 25% of the total BG, right, must be in cash. That is bank guarantees. Individual prudential caps. Prudential is a norm. Over rupees 1 crore. Secondary market share is 25 crore. IPO, ESOP, FPO is rupees 25 crore with 25% cash margin. Section 19 subsection 2 of the RBI of the Banking Regulation Act caps bank holding in any single company at the lower of 30% of the company's paid up capital or 30% bank's own capital plus reserve. So this is not that important. So what it is telling you, देखो इसको बस एक बार read कर लेना, as I told you in subconscious. बाकी ये limit याद रखना, कितना amount है ये याद रखना, net worth कितना होना चाहिए for your presence. Is that clear? And which bank has been given the facility for acquiring this kind of a thing, which is acquisition finance, that is commercial bank. You should note it down. ठीक है? Now, तो ये mind map के through you can relate it. You the PDF is in the Telegram channel. You all can relate it to this mind. Now, let's discuss with the fifth circular news. That is Prudential Capital Adequacy 2026, which is telling about the concept risk weight. हाउ मच कैपिटल आर लोन डिमांड्स, तो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। ये देख लो बस, दैट इज प्रूडेंशियल कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी अमेंडमेंट क्या होता है। The add capital adequacy is the concept of CRAR, Basel norms here, which banks have to maintain some capital adequacy in the case of its bad loan, right? Banks have to maintain its own capital because in that case, if the loan amount is in the condition of doubtful, तब आपकी रिजर्व भी जैसे सीआरआर एसएलआर भी बैंक को बैंक रन से बचा नहीं सकती, राइट? सो इन दैट केस आरबीआई कम्स विद द condition of capital adequacy. Capital adequacy is the concept of Basel norms, which through two steps they have majorly, that is CRAR को रखते हैं और provisioning रखते हैं उस पे, right? सो आरबीआई इस दैट्स वाई बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट प्रोविजंस बनाती हैं अंडर कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी विच इज प्रूडेंशियल, वी कॉल इट एज प्रूडेंशियल कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी अमेंडमेंट। ये मैं बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में नहीं बता रहा हूँ, दिस यू हैव टू रीड विद द एक्सप्लेनेशन इन योर पीडीएफ, राइट? राइट, because the PDF is getting provided, because it is a gist class, it is not a regular class that I will explain each and every term, but the concept is important। देखो concept क्या है कि risk weight equal to how much capital a loan demands, तो आपको याद रखना है standard acquisition finance carry 125 risk weight versus 100% normal corporate loans escalating to 150% if the acquirer is unrated or below investment grade। अगर जो acquirer है उसको कोई grading ही नहीं मिला है and they are unrated, right, so it can lead up to escalated to 150%। standard acquisition finance carries कितना है 125, but it can lead to 150% if it is escalating, ठीक है? Irrevocable payment committees IPC for clearing corporations now attract at 100% credit conversion factor. The portion treated as capital market exposure carries 125% risk weight। Now, capital floor reminder, which is minimum CRAR कितना है? मैंने बताया capital risk weighted ratio कितना होना चाहिए? That is 9%, which is stricter than the Basel 3 norms, which is 8%। Is it clear? कितना है? 9%। plus 2.5% capital conversion buffer in CET1 for an effective total 11.5 हो गया। 2.5 extra रखना है for capital conversion buffer for CET1। A counter cyclic buffer which is 0 से 2.5% may be activated exposure to qualified central counterparties, that is QCCP carries just 2% risk weight, right? तो बस ये डेटा रख लो। if you want to understand more concept, देन अभी मैं नहीं एक्सप्लेन कर सकता कि एक्चुअली में कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी क्या होती है प्रूडेंशियल, बट आई हैव एक्सप्लेन दिस कांसेप्ट वेरी मच इन डिटेल इन माय आरबीआई ग्रेड बी फुल कोर्स। इफ यू विल प्रिपेयर फॉर मेंस यू विल अंडरस्टैंड हाउ आई हैव एक्सप्लेन दिस। तो ये न्यूज कुछ है नहीं, जस्ट डेटा, यू हैव टू रीड इट आउट, ठीक है? सीटी वन के लिए एक्स्ट्रा क्या रखना है, राइट? क्वालिफाइड सेंट्रल काउंटर पार्टीज के लिए वेरिएशन काउंटर साइक्लिक बफर क्या दिया गया, दैट इज 0 to 2.5%, दैट मच यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, राइट? नाउ ये read कर लेना when you after the class। Now the sixth circular which is important, that is a lead bank scheme, and it is important because it is a scheme and I have given you the any idea why the scheme has been implemented। Scheme is a form of subsidy, in short you have to, not every scheme but scheme is a form of subsidy that is given by the government। Now 226 digital age upgrade concept, what it is telling about, since 1969 one lead bank coordinates credit and financial inclusion, ठीक है? All the classification of banks you are seeing now, whether it's universal, differentiated, small finance payment, it's only या PSL आप भी देख रहे हो, private sector lending, it's just to increase what? Increase what? Financial inclusion। The core objective of everything is just to increase financial inclusion। And सबसे major step कोई मुझे बता सकता है in comment box, what is the major step that has been taken which has drastically increased the financial inclusion? That is IBC, insolvency bankruptcy code। याद रखना, which leads to increase up to 58%। 58% financial inclusion has been increased, मतलब it is a very major step to taken IBC to increase financial inclusion। बाकी बहुत सारे steps लिया गया, regional rural bank nationalization everything, but also it does not lead to increase financial inclusion at that stage। So let's come into lead bank scheme भी एक ऐसा टाइप का फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन टाइप का स्ट्रिक है, बट एट डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल, ठीक है? प्लीज हैव अ लुक। द 2026 अपग्रेड moved from merely opening branches to ensure credit actually reaches the smallest block, means credit should goes to the smallest block। ये की ऑब्जेक्टिव है लीड बैंक स्कीम का। इट इज एट डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्टेट, फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन ही है ये। 3 tier स्ट्रक्चर, दैट इज SLBC, UTLBC, ठीक है? DCC, DLRC, ये सब समझ में आ गया। स्टेट लेवल ब्लॉक कमिटी, ठीक है? This is all about this। ये block, the ground floor where lending is एक्चुअली ट्रैक ब्लॉक लेवल पे ले गया गया, स्टेट लेवल से डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल से फिर ब्लॉक लेवल पे ले गया गया। यू आर गेटिंग माय पॉइंट, ये आप समझ लो। स्टेट लेवल से कहाँ ले गया, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल से ब्लॉक लेवल पे। इज इट क्लियर? इज एक्चुअली ट्रैक प्लानिंग फ्लिप्ड फ्रॉम टॉप बॉटम टू बॉटम, दैट इज ब्लॉक, डिस्ट्रिक्ट एंड स्टेट। ठीक है, पहले ब्लॉक लेवल पे चेक किया जाएगा, फिर डिस्ट्रिक्ट, फिर स्टेट। की रोल्स क्या है? Lead district manager, that is LDM, which is strategically the CEO of district banking. Leads district officer, that is LDO, the RBI representative on the ground. District development management, that is DDM, which is NABARD rural specialist. So please have a look in lead bank scheme. What is happening? There are three key roles, which is a strategic CEO of the district banking, lead district officer LDO, that has RBI representative on the ground, or district development management, that is DDM, is the NABARD rural specialist. Okay. Now the third point is the credit deposit CD ratio targeted is 60% for rural semi-urban areas. For every 100 of local deposits, at least 60 must be lent back locally. A ratio 40% triggers red zone and monitorable action plan. Is that clear? Now please try to understand द लीड बैंक एलबीएस डेवलपमेंट हिस्ट्री। ये आप खुद से रीड कर लेना, बट इफ इट इज इन द न्यू सर्कुलर इट कैन बी आस्क्ड, सम हिस्ट्री कैन बी आस्क्ड। पहला, 1967 में क्या हुआ था? गार्डगिल स्टडी ग्रुप ऑन ब्रांच एक्सपेंशन। 1969 में क्या हुआ था? इस टाइम पे, एट द टाइम इट वाज अ नेशनलाइजेशन मूवमेंट ओनली, बेस्ड ऑन द रिकमेंडेशन ऑफ एफकेएफ नरीमन कमिटी, द लीड बैंक स्कीम, दैट इज एलबीएस, वाज लॉन्च्ड बाय आरबीआई। 1969 में 70 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स across the country were allocated to major commercial banking as leads. Please have a look. Just ये key points अपने आप पास लिख लो. Is it clear? And please अभी ये present तक में क्या हो रहा है? Please have a look of this. Right? Read it on your own. You will understand it more clearly. Right? 2022 में presents में क्या? LBS supports the expansion of banking services, the financial inclusion plan, digital payments, and Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana and the credit outreach programs. Is it clear? This is all about the news. Now, the seventh circular. Seventh circular is telling about for the February month, which is ECB framing, which is borrowing and lending first amendment 2026. The concept it is telling about an external commercial borrowing, that is ECB, is an Indian company which is borrowing from what? Foreign lenders. The 2026 overhaul moved from a restrictive to a market linked system. The automatic route limit, no prior permission. It is first point is from USD 50 million to USD 1 billion it has been shipped. Is everyone getting a point? Right? Those who have attended my point, ये चीज लिख लो कि कहां तक ECB framework कहां तक हो रहा है. Just have a look. This is not that much important circular from my point of view, but you should have a look of it. USD 70 million to USD 1 billion or 300% of net worth, whichever is higher. The liability to equity ratio for borrowing from a foreign equity holder was eased from 4:1 to 7:1 and waived entirely if the outstanding ECB is below USD 5 million. ये याद रखना, ठीक है? बाकी देख लो, ये सब पॉइंट्स उतनी इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, ये बस ये रख लेना. इफ अ borrower fails the file to return for four consecutive quarters, the responding is labeled as untraceable, triggering legal action. It is not that important for your prelims, ठीक है? Then minimum average maturity period is 3 years. ये बस याद रखना, minimum maturity period is standardized at 3 years. Not that much important circular from my point of view, right? ECB framework, but you should read the data only, ठीक है? Now, such questions can be asked in your SIBI paper as well because it is related to derivative. Okay. Now, it is a unique transaction identifier, which is UTI for OTC derivative. What it is telling about? Directly, I'm coming to the point. It is a UTI is a 52 characters. It will only ask this. That is CPMI IOSCO standard, which is effectively from 1st January 2027, which has been postponed from April 2026. Reporting window is 5 business days. Okay, which is a waterfall hierarchy decides who generates it, central counterparty, trading venue, bilateral parties, and trader repository backstop. I know everyone is not understanding these points, but try to understand UTI क्या है. It is 52 characters. ठीक है, CPMI iOS standard, which is effectively from 1st January. यही याद रखना. UTI is a tracking number like a parcel tracking ID assigned to each contract for its whole life. इट इज रिलेटेड टू डेरिवेटिव, ठीक है, इट इज रिलेटेड टू ओटीसी डेरिवेटिव, ठीक है। ओटीसी डेरिवेटिव, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू टेल यू व्हाट इज डेरिवेटिव एंड ओटीसी बिकॉज इट विल टेक टाइम, ठीक है। सो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड ये यूटीआई है क्या, एंड इसका फुल फॉर्म याद रखना, दैट इज यूनिक ट्रांजेक्शन आइडेंटिफायर, ठीक है। ओटीसी डेरिवेटिव गूगल आउट कर लो, यू विल हैव अ लिंक, यू विल हैव अ क्लैरिफिकेशन कि क्या है ओटीसी डेरिवेटिव। डेरिवेटिव इतनी जल्दी समझ में नहीं आएगा गूगल करने से भी, राइट, डेरिवेटिव इज अ वेरी बिग कंसेप्ट, ठीक है। Now try to understand the ninth circular news, which is DICGC risk-based premium RBP framework, right? What it is DICGC risk-based premium, which is RBP framework. DICGC का अभी तक तो 5 ही लाख होगा, तुम देख लेना, right? But we will try to understand what it has been told. Uh, that is the DICGC insurer bank deposits. Earlier, every bank paid the same flat premium, that is 12 paise per rupees 100 of deposit, regardless how risky it was. The 2026 framework turns into a no claim bonus system. Safer banks pay less. Effectively, 1st April, safer bank जो है, they have to pay less. पहले क्या था, हर 100 रुपीज में 12 पैसे द बैंक्स हैव टू पे टू DICGC, ठीक है। दैट इज अ रिस्क बेस्ड प्रीमियम कंपनी, 5 लाख की गारंटी करती है दिस कंपनी व्हेन द डिपोजिटर, अगर इन द केस ऑफ बैंक, जैसा अभी कोऑपरेटिव बैंक का एक केस है मार्च मंथ या अप्रैल मंथ के इन न्यूज, राइट, कि वन ऑफ द कोऑपरेटिव बैंक हैज नॉट एबल टू रिटर्न द मनी, सो DICGC इज गिविंग मनी टू एवरी बैंक, टू एवरी डिपोजिटर्स, राइट, विच मतलब अगर 8 लाख है डिपोजिटर की अमाउंट तो 5 ही लाख वो देंगे, अगर 4.5 लाख है तो वो होल अमाउंट देंगे इफ इट इज लेस देन 5 लाख, बट अप्रूव्ड अमाउंट DICGC में कितना है, 5 लाख, यू शुड रिमेंबर। मीन्स व्हाट इट इज टेलिंग, पहले क्या था कि 100 रुपीज पे एवरी बैंक वाज गिविंग 12 पैसे, बट नाउ a safer bank will pay less. What it is telling about, that has been effectively from 1st April 2026, which is telling about premium by risk grade. Which bank, the bank which has a higher risk will pay higher, ठीक है। जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कैटेगरी ए 8 पैसे, 33% डिस्काउंट, कैटेगरी बी इज 10 पैसे, कैटेगरी सी इज 11 पैसे, एंड कैटेगरी डी इज 12 पैसे, नो डिस्काउंट. A vintage incentive gives a further 25% discounting to long-standing claim-free banks, right? If banks which is having a good health, right, good health in credit giving will have to pay less in to DICGC. ये रेटिंग आपको दिया गया है, ठीक है, that is 8 पैसे. At category A, if it is falling, 33% डिस्काउंट दे दिया गया from 12 पैसे. That you should remember कि क्या दिया गया है. तो please try to understand the risk is assessed via models. Tier 1 for scheduled commercial banks using camels. That is Tier 2 for regional rural banks, cooperatives, payment banks, local area banks, and banks under PCA and SAF continue to pay the flat 12 paise. But discounting has been given to the grade 1 bank, that is grade A bank using camels. Okay? The framework is reviewed every 3 years. It will be getting reviewed every 3 years. ना ये समझ लो, जैसे मैंने 5 लाख बताया ना, इसकी थोड़ी हिस्ट्री दे दी गई है, डिपॉजिटर इंश्योरेंस एंड क्रेडिट गारंटी कॉर्पोरेशन, दैट इज DICGC, which is very common. Every time you will be hearing in the news, in the various channel also, what is DICGC. So I'm not going to tell you about the link, but क्या पैसे वाइज implementation and discount किसको दिया गया, you have to look, right, in the circular. Now the 10th news, which is because February month में bi-monthly you are getting the MPC, that is Monetary Policy Committee. तो February right now I'm discussing. So monetary policy more detail पे नहीं बात करेंगे. Just repo rate if you will understand, because the repo rate क्या होता है? Repo rate is the policy rate, right? If any bank will if the RBI will decide repo rate, according to that MSF will be getting decided, right? Because MSF is the ceiling. अगर आपका एक घर है, roof is your MSF, because MSF should be always greater than repo rate. Why? Because MSF का concept है when you are giving your government securities from your SLR quota. Repo rate में banks is borrowing money from RBI by giving its government securities other than SLR quota. SLR quota में भी you are, क्योंकि SLR is a kind of a reserve. It is not kind of a borrowing that you are taking. In repo rate, because repo rate falls under the criteria of when bank is facing liquidity shortage. मतलब बैंक के पास liquidity shortage है, right? Banks can't repay depositor its interest rate. So at that case, banks goes to their lenders last resort, जो कि RBI है, and RBI comes with the solution of repo rate, ठीक है? And repo rate को ही policy rate बोला जाता है, because once the RBI will only decide repo rate according to that MSF will be getting decided, according to that reverse repo rate is getting decided. ठीक है, try to understand repo rate और reverse repo rate. यहाँ इससे कम क्या होता है, reverse repo rate, ट्रिपल आर. ठीक है, reverse repo rate is less than repo rate and MSF is greater than repo rate. तो repo rate क्या होता है, actually everyone know it is a repurchase obligation that is signed for 15 days where bank borrow money from RBI and RBI takes banks government securities which is other than SLR quota, because some of the government securities banks give in SLR quota which is a kind of a reserve. ठीक है, but in case of MSF क्या होता है, because every bank does not have government securities, मतलब small finance bank है, and if it is following the strict rule of repo rate of RBI, because ठीक है, तो they should also follow the repo rate criteria. तो रेपो रेट के लिए हर बैंक के पास तो एक्सेस ऑफ गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज है नहीं, तो उनके पास उतनी ही गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज होती है जितने वो रिजर्व में रख पाए, मतलब जितने वो एसएलआर कोटा में रख पाए. तो एमएसएफ एक कंडीशन है जिसमें गवर्नमेंट आरबीआई बहुत शॉर्ट टर्म के लिए बैंक को अलाउ करता है कि अपने एसएलआर कोटा की जो गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी है उसको हमारे पास रख के आप पैसे ले सकते हो, बट ऑब्वियसली इसकी जो रेट होगी वो रेपो रेट से हायर होगी. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? इसीलिए इसको मैं बहुत शॉर्ट में समझा रहा हूँ, इसको रूफ बोला जाता है. एंड रिवर्स रेपो रेट एक ऐसी चीज है जिसमें टू मेंटेन द बैंकिंग ट्रस्ट आरबीआई क्या करता है, बैंक से पैसा लेता है एंड आरबीआई अपनी गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज देता है, राइट. बट डोंट थिंक लाइक कि आरबीआई को नीड है ऐसा करने में. नो, आरबीआई की अगर आप बैलेंस शीट चेक करोगे ना, तो आरबीआई एक मात्र ऐसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है इन ऑल ओवर इंडिया, आई एम टेलिंग यू, विच इज वेरी प्रॉफिटेबल. व्हाई? बिकॉज if you will see at the time of demonetization, अगर liability of RBI क्या है, all currency note they are publishing, high powered money. 2016 में जितने भी उन्होंने 2000 एंड जितनी भी प्रिंटिंग करेंसी की होगी उसके हिसाब से गोल्ड एसेट दे हैव ब्रिंग, गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज खरीदा होगा, एसेट बनाया होगा, बिकॉज विदाउट एसेट द लायबिलिटी कैन बी asset equal to liability if anyone know the basic accounting principle. So RBI's liability, 99% liability is only what? Currency notes they are publishing, right? So at the time of demonetization, if RBI in 2016 suppose करो कि 10 crore की notes publish किए हैं, so they should have 10 crore asset in form of gold government security. But the price value of its asset in 2026 has been increased rapidly. मींस गोल्ड का प्राइस अभी देखो 2 लाख टच करने वाला है, राइट. बट द लायबिलिटी ऑफ एसेट इज स्टिल 10 करोड़. व्हाई? बिकॉज आरबीआई के पास आप जाओगे तो वो आपको 100 रुपीज के बदले 100 ही रुपीज देगा. दे विल नॉट गिव यू inflated value because it has been written its note that I promise to the bearer to pay this much amount. Are you getting my point? So RBI is very profitable organization, right? क्योंकि उसकी जो एसेट है वो टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी पे डिपेंड करती है, बट इट्स लायबिलिटी इज नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी. आरबीआई ने जो 1980 में भी नोट प्रिंट किया होगा और 2016 में उसको एट द टाइम ऑफ डिमोनेटाइजेशन इफ दे हैव टू गिव इट, तो दे विल ओनली गिव 100 नोट के बदले 100 नोट, 200 नोट के बदले 210 नहीं देंगे, 200 देंगे. But the asset they have created, it is increase in the time value of money, right? Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to say? So आरबीआई को कभी भी जरूरत नहीं है किसी से लेंड करने के लिए. आरबीआई टू मेंटेन द ट्रस्ट इन द बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन, आरबीआई यूजुअली डूज रिवर्स रेपो ऑपरेशन, राइट. एंड रिवर्स रेपो ऑपरेशन में क्योंकि इट इज द फंक्शन, रिवर्स फंक्शन ऑफ रेपो रेट. रेपो रेट में क्या हो रहा था, बैंक इज गिविंग बोरिंग मनी फ्रॉम आरबीआई एंड दे अगर आप बोरो कर रहे हो तो कुछ अपना कोलैटरल दोगे, तो कोलैटरल दे आर गिविंग गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज अदर देन देयर एसएलआर कोटा. इसमें एमएसएफ में एसएलआर कोटा वाला गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज दे आर गिविंग, दैट्स व्हाई इट इज इन सीलिंग. Reverse repo rate, it is just a reverse of repo rate. So RBI will borrow from bank, right? And RBI will give its government securities to bank. So Bimal Jalan committee come up with the solution of SDF. SDF क्या है? Because RBI is very independent body. RBI don't need to lend from anything, but to maintain banking trust, RBI has to give this reverse repo operation. नहीं तो बैंक से ट्रस्ट खत्म होगा. And if trust is getting question, sovereignty is getting question, means RBI is getting question. So RBI comes with the solution of standing deposit ratio. तो स्टैंडिंग डिपॉजिट फैसिलिटी जो है उसको चेंज, रिवर्स रेपो रेट को ही चेंज करके एसडीएफ कर दिया गया. इन दिस आरबीआई डज नॉट गिव एनी कोलेटरल टू बैंक. ये एक सेम ही ऑपरेशन है रिवर्स रेपो रेट में, मींस आरबीआई इज टेकिंग मनी फ्रॉम बैंक, बट आरबीआई इतनी प्रॉफिटेबल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है तो व्हाई दे नीड टू गिव देयर गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज टू बैंक. So SDF is the solution in which what it is happening, it is same as reverse repo rate, but just RBI is taking money from bank. They don't need to give any collateral. समझ में आया? आया? यही reverse repo rate को change कर दिया गया SDF में. Why I'm making you understand this? Because if you will understand repo rate ना, रेपो रेट से 0.25% हाई रहता है एमएसएफ और 0.25% कम रहता है ट्रिपल आर और एसडीएफ. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? एसडीएफ इज द सेम कंसेप्ट ऑफ रिवर्स रेपो रेट एंड दिस इज व्हाट इट हैज बीन रिटन इन योर मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी. If RBI will only talk about repo rate in their monetary policy, if they will talk about repo rate, automatically their ceiling, that is MSF, will be getting decided, or their SDF, that is floor, which is has been changed from reverse repo rate, will be getting decided. Are you all getting my point? What I'm trying to say? Are you all getting my point? Please wait. Please reply in the class. What is monetary policy? Crux I have told you. Right. In more detail, I have discussed in my RBI Grade B mentorship program in main subject that I have taught you. But this is the crux only that you have to understand. इसलिए मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है इफ यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड सच रिपोर्ट्स ऑफ मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमिटी. इज एवरीवन गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? सो द एमपीसी इज अनएम्बिशियसली हेल्ड फरवरी मंथ में क्या रख दिया गया है? 5.25%. जैसे आप एमपीसी को 5.2% रेपो रेट को देखे, यू विल अपने आप से सोच लेना कि अगर एमपीसी है 5.25%, राइट, तो एमएसएफ क्या होगा? 0.25% ज्यादा, राइट, मींस 5.50 होगा, और एसडीएफ क्या होगा? 5% होगा. आर यू ऑल गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से? Following a cumulative 125 BPS rate cut cycle that began in early 2025. And next question it can be asked, what stance it has been taken? So stance at the February month was neutral. ठीक है. And GDP growth भी बताते हैं. Why? Because through monetary policy, RBI is controlling the aggregate demand. Try to understand, this is aggregate demand. This downward sloping graph is aggregate demand. If RBI is controlling aggregate demand, means they are controlling the output of a country, right? And output is defined. Output is one of the method by which we calculate GDP. That's why if RBI is controlling this aggregate demand by this monetary policy, which is CRR, SLR, this is MSF, this is policy rate, SDF. So RBI is actually controlling what? Aggregate demand. And aggregate demand controlने से क्या होता है? Inflation होगा, right? So इसी वजह से either if the RBI will control aggregate demand, तो ग्रोथ भी होगा, साथ में इन्फ्लेशन भी होगा. इसीलिए इसको इन्फ्लेशन ग्रोथ ट्रेड ऑफ बोलते हैं. आरबीआई वाइल कंट्रोलिंग थ्रू मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी में तुम हमेशा देखना न्यूज़पेपर में लिखा रहेगा इन्फ्लेशन ग्रोथ ट्रेड ऑफ. आइदर आरबीआई कैन कंट्रोल ग्रोथ बाय एग्रीगेट डिमांड और दे कैन कंट्रोल इन्फ्लेशन. दोनों को एक साथ कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. बट मैं आई हैव टोल्ड यू, व्हेन गवर्नमेंट इज गिविंग सब्सिडी, वो ग्रोथ को भी कंट्रोल कर रहे थे, इन्फ्लेशन को भी कंट्रोल कर रहे थे. इफ आरबीआई इज कंट्रोलिंग, वांट्स टू कंट्रोल through their monetary policy tools, that is SDF, repo rate, ये सबसे कंट्रोल करने की कोशिश करेंगे. So only they can control either inflation. एक बार में एक ही चीज को simultaneously दोनों को नहीं कर सकते. Are you all getting my point? Because they are controlling what? They are controlling what? They are controlling aggregate demand. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear? मैंने थोड़ा सा concepts I have told you how to think of it. How to think of it. So देखो, new measures, what it has been told. Banks may now lend directly to REITs, a digital fraud compensation framework for small finance transaction up to rupees 25,000. Victims compensated up to 85% of the net loss. ठीक है, ये जीडीपी प्रोजेक्शन मैंने ये बताया थ्रू मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी. आप ये सोच सकते हो ना कि सर व्हाई दे आर गिविंग प्रोजेक्शन ऑफ जीडीपी थ्रू मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी. Why? Because monetary policy के through you can control the aggregate demand. Because monetary policy के through you can control the money supply. And money supply से interest rate control होता है. And interest rate is one of the determinant of aggregate demand. बहुत सारी चीजें हैं which I have discussed in my RBI Grade B full course of finance. ठीक है? Then you can understand. Okay, that's why in monetary policy GDP calculation भी RBI is getting told. That is GDP for financial 2026 was revised up to rupees 7.4%. ठीक है? अब ये समझ लो, टाइप 1 एनबीएफसी बिलो रुपीज 1000 करोड़ exempted from registration and mission section train 1.40 lakh UCB participation. A real estate investment trust क्या होता है ये आप पढ़ लेना, but cannot exceed 49%, must distribute at least 19% of its taxable income. Because you all have the notes, so you can read it out. So MPC क्या है? It is a structure statutory under RBI Act of 1934 amendment. एक और important point है, which section के अंदर आता है? Section 45ZA, याद रखना. MPC constituted under section 45ZA. कितने members होते हैं? 6 members, 3 from RBI and 3 from government. ठीक है? द गवर्नर हैज अ कास्टिंग वोट। ये याद रखना, गवर्नमेंट के पास अगर बैलेंस हो गया, दो दो लोग वोट कर दिए, सपोज इन दी मीटिंग ओनली 4 पीपल्स आर कमिंग एंड दो दो लोग वोट कर दिए, तो गवर्नमेंट के पास, गवर्नर ऑफ आरबीआई के पास एक कास्टिंग वोट रहता है, एक्स्ट्रा वोट ही इज हैविंग अ कास्टिंग वोट which meets at least 4 times a year. कितना मिलना है? 4 times a year. Quorum 4. A failure is inflation outside 2 से 6 band for 3 consecutive quarters. अगर 3 consecutive quarters में inflation is not getting controlled, then the government will means interrupt in that case. Is it clear? Now they have to fill it. ठीक है? They have to give this report to the government of India after in 3 consecutive quarter maybe RBI could not control the inflation through aggregate demand. तब सब्सिडी का कंसेप्ट आता है. Is it clear? इसलिए you should understand the concept of aggregate demand and aggregate supply before starting the macroeconomic, that is inflation, unemployment, poverty, मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, फिस्कल पॉलिसी पढ़ने से पहले एग्रीगेट डिमांड, एग्रीगेट सप्लाई को समझना या माइक्रोस्कोपिक टूल्स को समझना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है फ्रॉम माय पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. इज इट क्लियर? नाउ let's discuss with the 11th circular news, that is other February development, and it is very easy to understand because it is one liner news. Financial literacy week 9 से 13 Feb में था. थीम केसीसी योर फर्स्ट स्टेप टू सेफ बैंकिंग. RBI digital banking index, that is DPI base March 2028 100, right? DPI digital payment based index है March, ये it is important, which is semi annually कितना होता है 4 month lag. 516.76 in September 2025. Waste payment performance 45%, enablers 25%, supply side infrastructure 15%, and demand side infrastructure 10%. Consumer centric 5%. FEMA compounding section 13% for quantifiable violations. The maximum penalty FEMA में up to rupees 300% of the sum involved. Non-quantifiable up to rupees 2 lakh. A continuing violation adds rupees 5,000 per day. Application fee rupees 10,000 plus GST. The company must pay within 15 days of the order. Compounding is bared if a similar violation occurred with the last 3 years. ULI, that is Unified Lending Interference by the RBI Innovation Hub. ठीक है, ये है ULI, that is Unified Lending Interference. It is important. UPI for lending, a consent driven platform connecting lenders to data source, land record, GST credit bureaus for near instant. UPI PayNet linkage with Malaysia, ये याद रखना. After Singapore, Pay Now, UAE, ANI, Mauritius, advancing rupee internationalization. This was also in the news. Though when I will be discussing the banking finance marathon, उसमें भी ये सारे news आएंगे. ये one-liner news will be coming up, right? So please try to understand. So let me, right? And the last news for the February month, that is one-liner, is Airtel Money, right? It is licensed as the Type 2 NBFC ICC under Section 45 IA of the RBI Act. Non-deposit taking capitalized of rupees कितना याद रखो 20,000 crore, right? So I have completed 2 months circular, right? So I hope everyone is liking the session and you all are enjoying. I already told you. So let's start with the March month. Let's take me break for 2 minutes. So okay, so I'm going to start with the March month, right? So देखो, March was one of the RBI's busiest months because it is what it is defining. It is defending the rupee, shielding exporters, overhauling dividends because West Asia conflict was coming in the picture in the March month, right? That's why. And setting a 3 year strategy as well. So first, try to understand the first, which is important circular news, that is trade relief measures direction 2026 due to West Asia crisis. I have already told, right? The context, what it is. A shipping crisis in West Asia meant exporters' goods were stuck in transit, risking default tax through no fault of their own. The RBI has a financial, the RBI as the financial guardian of what? Foreign trade. Relax the timeliness. Okay, what it is? It is, remember the formula 450, 15 or 3. Please note it down in your A4 size paper. February की भी separate कर लेना, March की बनाना. Because when I will make you solve MCQ, you will easily answer each and every question. तो ये याद रखो. Export credit period extended कितना कर दिया गया है? 450 days. Standard कितना था? 270. Just you have to add. For disbursal made up to rupees, sorry, not rupees, I'm really sorry, up to 30th June 2026. Second is repatriation realization period extended to 15 months from 9 months. Is it clear? Third is shipment window extended to 3 years from 1. Right? Applies to what? Applies to commercial banks, that is urban cooperative banks, स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, ठीक है, सेंट्रल कोऑपरेटिव बैंक, एनबीएफसीज, फैक्टर्स एंड एआई 5। इज इट क्लियर? यू शुड रिमेंबर दिस थिंग, ठीक है? आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? इज इट क्लियर नाउ? तो ये याद रखो, 450, 50 और 3, ठीक है? शिपमेंट विंडो एक्सटेंडेड टू 3 years, इट इज ओनली इंपॉर्टेंट। नाउ द सेकंड सर्कुलर न्यूज विच इज NOP INR cap of USD 100 billion. Again, देखो context. The rupee hit a record low of rupees 95.09 per USD on March 27, 2026. Why it is important? To stop banks from making speculative, because speculative demand याद है ना? अच्छा, you all have not attended my RBI full-fledged course. मैंने वहां पर देखना फाइनेंस के पोर्शन में MDS समझाया, दैट इज मनी ऑन स्पेकुलेटिव डिमांड, money that is being demanded on speculative behavior. It is directly depending or inversely depending upon interest rate. And interest rate is decided by what? Bank. ठीक है? So interest rate has a relation with money that is being demanded on speculative side. मैं अब बस आपको हिंट दे रहा हूँ, how to think with this static subject. तो स्टूप इसलिए यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ है to stop banks from making speculative one way bets that worsen the fall. The RBI has capped their net currency exposure. Concept, what it is telling about: the net open position, that is NOP, is the difference between the bank's total foreign currency assets and the liabilities. The exposure left is getting uncovered. A large dollar NOP provides if the dollar is being strengthened, which creates an incentive to bet against what? Rupee. Is it clear? The earlier rule let bank boards set NOP limits to what? 25% of the capital, which for big banks meant to USD 1 billion. ठीक है? The RBI scrapped that and imposed a flat, कितना कर दिया? Scrapped कर दिया चीज को, USD 100 billion, end of the cap, and all authorized dealer. Authorized dealer देखो क्या होता है? Authorized dealer are the kind of a dealers which are in the secondary market. देखो प्राइमरी मार्केट में only the angel investors is only a firm, right? मतलब मैं एक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से समझा रहा हूँ, या गवर्नमेंट्स होंगे या आरबीआई मीट करेगा। ये प्राइमरी मार्केट की कंडीशन है, मतलब बड़े लोग मीट करेंगे, राइट? वेदर इट्स एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स कंपनी ओनली, whether it's a government or whether it's RBI. Secondary market पे all the business is getting done. तो authorized dealer का भी काम secondary market पे ही होता है। Just a hint I am giving you, ठीक है? Compliance deadline 10th April 2026 issued under the FEMA section 10 subsection 4, 11 subsection 1, 11 subsection 2. याद रखना, the rupee soon recovered from about rupees 95.22 to about 93.10, और ये बहुत ज्यादा jump है, right? Are you getting my point? And it is very strong because it will weaken what? Rupee. Internationalization of rupee, इसीलिए बहुत initiatives लिया जा रहा है in the April month, you will say रुपी को बढ़ाने के लिए internationalization, the various steps that has been taken by RBI as well as in the participation of government of India. Why? Because ये बहुत ज्यादा bridge है, 95.22 per dollar अगर रुपी हो जाए, that is very important to that is a very important point. So try to understand. It will weaken the rupee concept. The Kuwaiti dinar, that is KWD, is the most expensive and the highest value currency in the world relative to the US dollar. One Kuwaiti dinar currently trades at a roughly $3.24 USD, meaning it requires more than $3 to equal a single dinar, right? The top 5 highest valued Asian currencies relative to the United States dollar one is Kuwaiti dinar. अब देखो कुवैत दिनार में भी यही चीज हो रहा है, तो why they have taken a, तो आपको अब समझ में आ गया होगा ये वेस्ट एशिया कॉन्फ्लिक्ट क्यों हो रहा है। बहरानी, राइट, दिनार, ओमानी रियाल, Jordanian dinar, and Singapore dollar, right? This is only the top 5 which is equivalent to, and India का rupees कहाँ है in comparison with US? Check. Is it clear? Right, and this is very important point. So NOP INR cap of USD 100 billion. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now please try to understand the third point, that is the dividend declaration framework. That is a major overhaul. What it is talking about? Please have a look. The context is talking about the RBI replaced the gold fragmented dividends rules and created one unified framework for all bank types effectively from financial year 2026 and 2027. The maximum payout is 75% of profit after tax for commercial banks, small finance banks, and payment banks. 80% for what? Local area bank. Net NPA deduction softened from the draft 100% to a final 50%. कहाँ से? 100% to a final 50%. Bank subtracts 50% of net NPA before arriving at distributable profit. Right? Is it clear? 100% to what? 50%. You should understand. डिविडेंड क्या होता है पता है ना? डिविडेंड डिक्लेरेशन फ्रेमवर्क. डिविडेंड का मतलब समझ में आ रहा है ना? इट इज वेरी नॉट दैट इंपॉर्टेंट बट यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड. डिविडेंड इज वेरी इजी टू अंडरस्टैंड. डिविडेंड इज अ प्रॉफिट विच इज गेटिंग सर्कुलेटेड इन दी बोर्ड ऑफ मेंबर्स में ही सर्कुलेट हो जाता है. राइट? इट इज अ प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्स. इज इट क्लियर? आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? सो you should understand some की क्या है कि NPA deduction softened from draft 100% to the final 50%. Bank subtract 50% of the net NPA before arriving at distributable profit. The payout is graded by capital strengthened, that is a bucket system. A bank CET1 above 15% can pay the full 75%. A moderate capitalized bank only 30-50%. A bank with CET 8% कितना है? पे जीरो डिविडेंड. ये याद रखना, ये पॉइंट याद रखना. अ बैंक विद सीईटी बिलो 8% पे जीरो डिविडेंड issued under section 35A of the Banking Regulation Act of 1949. Is it clear? तो यहाँ पर एग्जांपल रीड कर लो, you will understand it more clearly. Just let me yeah. So the fourth question what it is telling. The master direction, that is unique identifier in financial market, that is LEI plus UTI. Just इसको रीड कर लो कि LEI क्या है and UTI क्या है. राइट? कंसेप्ट क्या है? द लीगल एंटिटी आइडेंटिफायर, दैट इज एलईआई, इज अ ग्लोबल आधार फॉर कंपनीज. A single ID that lets regulators worldwide recognize the same identity. It was created by the Financial Stability Board after 2008 crisis so that the regulators could trace risk across borders. Now, the LEI is a 20-character code which is ISO 17442 standard. ये लिख लो. द यूटीआई फॉलोज द, अभी अभी जैसे यूटीआई मैंने समझा रखा था ओटीसी डेरिवेटिव्स पे. ठीक है? वो कितना कैरेक्टर था? प्लीज प्लीज नोट इट डाउन. कमेंट पे नोट करो कितना कैरेक्टर था. आई हैव टोल्ड यू टू मार्क इट आउट. ठीक है? जैसे एलईआई 20 कैरेक्टर कोड है तो वो क्या था? इट इज आईएसओ 17442 स्टैंडर्ड. एंड यूटीआई क्या था? इट इज वेरी गुड सौम्या, वेरी गुड. सीपीएमआई आईओएससीओ. इज इट क्लियर? सो यू शुड अंडरस्टैंड द इफेक्टिव डेट्स. ठीक है? दैट इज इमीडिएट 27th March 2027, 20, sorry 6, and UTI is 1st January 2027. Full implementation for all reportable transaction by 30th September 2026. Just date याद रखना and you should understand. तो ये एक mind map है by which you can understand it more clearly. ठीक है? Now, let's, ये point थोड़ा important है. Please have a look. In India, the LEI is a mandatory for borrowers with aggregate exposures. कितना है? ₹5 crore for all OTC derivatives. ठीक है? And participants for cross-border transactions above ₹50 lakh. In principles, no LEI, no trade. ठीक है? Now, this is not that important. मेरे हिसाब से the thing, it is because it is more important. This fifth circular news for the March is not important for your prelims examination, more important for your mains. So please note it down करो. मार्च मंथ में ये जो फिफ्थ सर्कुलर है, that is APDIR सीरीज नंबर 25. बस उसमें ये समझ लेना कि ECB अमेंडमेंट से रिलेटेड है. USD 1 billion 300% ऑफ नेट लायबिलिटी इक्विटी से, ये मैंने पढ़ा भी दिया है. 10 billion वर्किंग कैपिटल सीलिंग. राइट? ये अपने से रीड कर लेना. इट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर मेंस आंसर राइटिंग, नॉट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स. ठीक है? इज इट क्लियर? इसको खुद से रीड कर लेना. बस डेटा समझ लो कि USD 1 billion और 300% ऑफ नेटवर्क, इक्विटी 7:1 है, मैम पर 3 years है. ठीक है? मैम का मतलब क्या होता है? मिनिमम एवरेज मैच्योरिटी पीरियड. ठीक है? ये देख लो यहाँ पर, इसको खुद से एक बार रीड कर लेना. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? जहां मुझे लग नहीं रहा है कि इट इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट, सो बिकॉज आई एम डिस्कसिंग जस्ट, इफ यू विल वॉच माय होल क्लास यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि मैंने सारा ही चीज डिस्कस किया है, बट नॉट इन जस्ट. राइट? नाउ दो आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग इन थॉरोली सो यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड ईच एंड एवरी टर्म. ठीक है? नाउ sixth circular which is important, that is capital market exposure CME framework, that is deferred to 1st July 2026. So try to understand what it is telling about. Industry that has been flagged operational challenges, no implementation was pushed back 3 months. ठीक है? From 1st April to 1st July 2026. Reminders: loan against securities per individual. Loan against securities that is you are giving is ₹1 crore, monitored system wide. IPO, FPO, ESOP ₹25 lakh. देखो ₹25 lakh bank. Just a minute. It is bank uh, financing of brokers, proprietary trading needs 100% cash collateral. Aggregate CME that is 40%, direct 20%, acquisition finance कितना है 20%. Is it clear? You should remember the ये ratio distribution percentage में कैसे है नॉन percentage distribution. CME में कितना है 40%, direct 20%, acquisition finance में 20%. Right? This is all about it. अब ये चीज समझ लेना 25 लाख के लिए बैंक फाइनेंसिस ऑफ ब्रोकर्स कितना है trading needs 100% cash collateral. You should understand it. Now, seventh circular that is inflation target retained the 4 to 6 rule. 4 to 6 rule से आपको समझ में आ जाएगा, right? It is just for your analogy that we have used the heading to make you mark the data. Inflation target retained. The government retained the inflation framework from 1st April 2026 to 31st March 2031. The second consecutive 5 year extensions, the target 4%. लोअर टॉलरेंस कितना है 2%. ये तो सभी को पता है सीपीआई के अकॉर्डिंग 2 से 6 है. टारगेट कितना होना चाहिए 4%. मैक्सिमम 6 तक जा सकता है. मिनिमम बैंड 2%. लोअर टॉलरेंस 2%, अपर टॉलरेंस 6%. एवरीवन नोस. अंडर द सेक्शन 45ZA, the February 2026 CPI print was 3.21, comfortably within the band. It is within the band. Within the band means 2 से 6%. CPI क्या है? Consumer Price Index. This is the one of the method by which we calculate inflation, right? मैंने पूरी CPI measurement कैसे use होती है I have made you understand. And CPI में base year change हुआ है, right? Everyone should comment it down कि base year अभी क्या है. In CPI calculation base year अभी क्या लिया जा रहा है. Please everyone should comment it down, right? कि अभी आपको इतना अगर current affairs पढ़ रहे हो तो you should understand कि Consumer Price Index में base year change हुआ है. The measurement method has been changed. उसमें क्या changes हुआ है? Please everyone should comment it down. चलो कमेंट करो. आई विल लुक इट दोज हु आर आंसरिंग कि क्या बेस ईयर लिया गया है नया फॉर द इन्फ्लेशन एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट इन्फ्लेशन इज गेटिंग कंट्रोल एंड इन्फ्लेशन का रिलेशन है ग्रोथ से. यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड. वेरी गुड बिंदु. येट इज इट क्लियर नाउ? तो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट सर्कुलर. द एट्थ वन इज इंपॉर्टेंट. श्योरली द क्वेश्चन विल बी फिल्म. ठीक है 2022 या 2024 प्लीज सीपीआई कैलकुलेशन में प्लीज हैव अ लुक. Right, base year has been changed. You all have to answer. Right, I am seeing how you all are revising within the 4 or 5 days before the examination. Now financial year 2027 budget and Utkarsh 3.0, and it is very important. Okay, because it has been announced in the budget, and surely the question will be framed. It's my point because I'm telling you the question can be framed from Utkarsh 3.0. So please try to understand, and I will make you understand in detail. At the 622nd Central Board meeting that is held on Patna, the RBI approved its financial year 2026-2027 budget and Utkarsh 3.0, its medium-term strategic framework for 2026 and 2029. After Utkarsh 1.0 in this date and Utkarsh 2.0 in this date. So Utkarsh 3.0, also known as Utkarsh 2029, is the Reserve Bank of India RBI medium-term strategy framework spanning from 2026 to 2029. It acts as a roadmap to strengthen the financial system, leverage technology, and position India as a globally integrated economy. Try to understand. The major points and focus areas of the framework include what? Just have a look. Wait. That is core. हाँ. The major points and the focus area of the framework includes core pillars. ये याद रखना. पहला क्या है? Robust regulation and supervision, right? Statement based question can be framed. Second क्या है? Customer centric and inclusive finance. Third is what? Competitive market. Fourth is what? Future ready organization. And fifth is what? Globally India focus. ठीक है? रीड कर लेना खुद से. It is not डफ. अब समझ में आ गया होगा what is Utkarsh 3.0. Is it clear? Now, the ninth circular that is important for your understanding is in the March month is Payment Vision 2028 Shaping India's Payment Frontier. The concept is what? Where the 2025 vision, the 4 E's, that is everyone, everywhere, every time. That is 4 E's. Focused on expanding reach, the 2028 vision focuses on deepening trust, security, and global competitiveness. Okay? This is built on 5 pillars, that is 5 I's, that is integrity, inclusion, लिख लो ये, innovation, where you are preparing A4 size paper, मैंने बोला था ना in the starting, so please write it down. Institutionalization and internationalization. This is all about it. ठीक है? 5 pillars क्या क्या? Inclusion, innovation, institutionalization and internationalization. This is the 5 pillars that you should have, the 5 I's. ठीक है? With a horizon up to December 2028 and the 15 key initiative. Bank account portability via payment switching services. Payment switching services means जैसे कि होता है, just try to understand what it is payment switching services because it is mentioned over here. Payment switching services is similar that a pass, you will read it. It is similar as that, like na ki, if you are using a Geo SIM with the same account with the same mobile number, you can port that Geo SIM into Airtel. You can port that Airtel SIM into Vodafone. Are you getting my point? तो ये शायद मेरे हिसाब से ये पेमेंट स्विचिंग सर्विसेज भी पास that has been initiative that has been taken by RBI. It is telling about with the same account number, whatever account number you are having in SBI, if you don't like the services of SBI, with the same account number, you can, with this past technology, you can use the ICICI bank, right? With the same account number. You don't need to change the account number. Are you all getting my point? What is payment switching services? ठीक है? Are you getting my point? These are very good services. ये सेम कंसेप्ट पे आया है, जो मोबाइल की पोर्टेबिलिटी चेंज होने की सर्विसेज है ना, उसी से उसी को मद्देनजर रखते हुए दिस सर्विसेज हैज बीन स्टार्टेड, दैट इज पेमेंट स्विचिंग सर्विसेज. ठीक है? ई चेक्स, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक चेक्स तो था ही. A universal switch on facility shared liability framework between sending and receiving banks for frauds and TREDS interoperability. ठीक है? Please try to understand, ये important है. The Ministry of MSME reduced the mandatory onboarding thresholds of the trade receivables discounting system, that is TREDS, from rupees 500 crore to rupees 250 crore. All companies registered under the Companies Act with an annual turnover exceeding this new limit, alongside Central Public Enterprises, that is CPSE, are required to be registered on the platform. So try to understand the cross-border payment authorization is to be streamlined under the Payment and Settlement System Act of 2000 and the FEMA of 999. Because cross-border payment है तो FEMA तो आ ही जाएगा 1999, and it is related to the services of switching it out. Payment से related है तो Payment and Settlement System Act of 2007. Because if you will check my finance classes in RBI, मैंने आपको पढ़ा रखा है कि what are the acts under the control of RBI. तो उसमें FEMA भी है and Payment and Settlement Act 2007. तो पेमेंट से रिलेटेड अगर कोई भी चीज आएगा तो obviously through this act it will be getting enforced. ठीक है? And export से related, cross border से related है तो FEMA 1999 it will be coming in the picture. So I hope the 9th circular, which is Payment Vision 2028, which is shaping India's payment frontier, it is also being clear to everyone. Now the 10th news, what it is telling about, that is WMA limit for the government of India, that is H1 financial year 2027. Please try to understand. Yeah, way and mean advances. If you all understand the fiscal policy, then you will understand what is the meaning of ways and means advances. Limit for April April से September 2026 was set at rupees 2,50,000 crore. ये noted down कर लो. Up from 1,50,000 crore. कितना increase हुआ? अगर 1,50,000 से 2,50,000, 66% का increase है. When the government uses 75% of the limit, the RBI triggers कितना है? Fresh market borrowing. WMA carries the repo rate. Overdraft is repo rate plus 2%. कितना है? Please have a look. Overdraft is repo rate, जो भी repo rate decide होगा in the MPC plus 2%. Is it clear? WMA का short definition दे दिया गया है. WMA stands for Ways and Means Advances. It is a credit mechanism used by the Reserve Bank of India to help the central and state government tide over temporary mismatches in their cash flow between tax receipts and expenditures. Right? This is right. So key features of WMA, agar if you will look it down, key features of WMA, just let me switch the page. Right. It is this. Purpose, what it is, it acts as a immediate overdraft or bridge loan to fund day-to-day budget deficits, so governance and services do not stall, rather than a method to finance structural revenue deficits. Second is the tenure. A mandate by Section 17, subsection 5 of the RBI Act of 1934, all advances must be fully repaid within 3 months, that is 19 days. Interest rate. Borrowings are charged at the prevailing repo rate. ठीक है. Overdraft. It is government fails to repay the WMA within 90 days. It is treated as an overdraft. The interest rate on overdraft is generally 2% higher than the standard repo rate. Is it clear? This is all about the news. Okay. So please read it. The RBI payment vision evolution of the phases. ये सारे को रीड कर लेना माइंड में. इट विल बी मोर क्लियर. ठीक है. आपको एक जगह सारा लिखा हुआ है. एंड विजन 2028 क्या है, विजन 2025 क्या था, राइट. सो यू विल अंडरस्टैंड द मोर थिंग्स वेरी क्लियरली मोर. ठीक है. नाउ 11th अदर मास डेवलपमेंट. ठीक है. प्लीज हैव अ लुक. दैट इज .bank.in. ये एक डोमेन बनाया गया है विच इज अ वेरी ग्रेट इनिशिएटिव बाय आरबीआई. ठीक है. ये प्लीज देखो, इसलिए आरबीआई को अवार्ड भी मिला है, राइट. बिकॉज इट इज अ फर्स्ट बैंक. मतलब आरबीआई की ये जो प्लान है, इंडिया में ये फर्स्ट चीज, इंडिया इज द फर्स्ट कंट्री टू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस, ये समझ लो. .bank.in won initiative of the year at the 13th Central Banking Awards. India became the first country to mandate an exclusive secure banking domain, which is registrar IDRBT authorized by NICSI. ठीक है. ये IDRBT एक सब्सिडरी है, राइट. प्लीज नोट इट डाउन. IDRBT क्या है? एनीवन कैन टेल मी. बताओ मुझे IDRBT क्या है. प्लीज एनीवन. एक सब्सिडरी है आरबीआई की. फुल फॉर्म क्या है? प्लीज नोट इट डाउन. बताओ. इंस्टीट्यूट फॉर डेवलपमेंट एंड रिसर्च इन बैंकिंग टेक्नोलॉजी. इज इट इज अ सब्सिडरी बाय आरबीआई, राइट. ऑथोराइज्ड बाय निक्सी. Launched in February 2025. Migration deadline 31st October 2025. So .bank.in is a initiative of the year, right. क्या है? इंडिया बिकम द फर्स्ट कंट्री टू मैंडेट एन एक्सक्लूसिव. ठीक है. सिक्योर बैंकिंग डोमेन बनाया गया है, राइट. You don't need to do this. If bank has complained, people have complained. If bank has complained, they should go. A separate website has been maintained. मेरी बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंस न्यूज देखना. मार्च या आई गेस मार्च मंथ में ही आई हैव कवर्ड दिस थिंग इन मोर डिटेल. ठीक है. तो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस. न्यू गोवा डिस्ट्रिक्ट दैट इज कुशावती, द स्टेट्स थर्ड वाज असाइंड अ लीड बैंक. ये याद रखना. लीड बैंक स्कीम डेट्स to 1969. Gargill study group, I've already told you. CD ratios actions 40-60% monitored by DCC. Below 40% needs a monitorable action plan. Below 20% is a special category, right? At least 25% of new outlets must open in unbanked tier 5 and 6. Now, currency facts about 4,195 currency chest, 4 note presses, Mysuru, Salboni, run by RBI slash BRBNM, BRBNML, Nashik Divas by GOI, SPMCIL, 4 mints, that is Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Noida, all SPMCIL. ठीक है. ये important again for SEBI point of view. SEBI verified app label on March 5th, 2026. India's investors base now exceeds 140 millions with market capitalizations around rupees 423 trillion. Is it clear? So mass circular A4 size paper में whatever the important things we have mentioned, I hope everyone has covered. Now I'm going to start with the April month. So let me drink water for 2 minutes. Just a minute. So we are going to start the April, right? So try to understand the April brought the two biggest banking reforms of the period. That is the move of expected credit loss accounting and the final piece of Basel 3. So Basel 3 maybe it has been implemented. Right. So try to understand the first question, first circular news for the April month. NBFC branch authorization amendment direction. So ये बस पढ़ो. A deposit taking NBFC, that is NBFC ND. No, sorry, and not NB. ND is non-deposit. It is deposit. So NBFC and D. Sorry, I'm really sorry. NBFC D. That is NBFC deposit taking. May open branches anywhere in India without prior approval only if it has net owned funds above rupees how much 50 crore. कितना? ये लिख लो, डेटा लिख लो. It is above 50 crore. Is it clear? And a credit rating double A or above. A dual requirement, otherwise it is confirmed to its home state. ठीक है. So try to understand the rating override. Even a well-capitalized NBFC with rupees 500 crore NOF stays home state only if the rating is below AA. And it is very important point. Rating should be AA and the net owned fund above ₹50. अब देखो अगर rating खा जाए तो well known 500 crore की भी NOF stays at home, right? Now, second circular which is important, that is NBFC registration scale based regulation amendments, which is telling about effective from 1st July 2026. A type 1 NBFC, that is no public funds, no customer interference, with asset below rupees 1000 crore is exempted from registrations. It files an annual certificate. The registration is mandatory at rupees 1000 crore, or if a group combined asset cross that. Existing such NBFC can deregistered via which portal? Parvah portal. Which portal? Parvah portal. By December 31st, 2026. Any overseas operation voids the exemptions. Okay? It is again the important news that you should understand. Now, let's discuss with the third circular news, that is uh, IRDI, right? IRDI, what it is telling about? IRDI, from 1st April 2026, every issuers and reinsurers, life general health must prepare financial statement under IAS, that is IND AS, ठीक है? IND AS 117, ये याद रख लेना, ठीक है? Equivalent to IFRS 17, governing insurance contract accounting, bringing issuers in line with banks and listed companies. Now, the fourth circular which is important is, ये बहुत इजी है, इंड एएस को इम्प्लीमेंट किया गया है, इंड एएस 117 विच इज इक्विवेलेंट टू आईएफआरएस 17. आईएफआरएस क्या होता है? एनीवन इफ हैज गिवन सेबी पेपर और पीएफआरडीए विल अंडरस्टैंड. आईएफआरएस क्या है और इंड एएस क्या है? इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग स्टैंडर्ड है, एंड इंड एएस मींस इंडिया की खुद की अपनी अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड, ठीक है? राइट, आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो आईएफआरएस जो इंटरनेशनल है उसकी 17 से इक्विवेलेंट है दिस इंड एएस 117. तो ये बस एक न्यूज है छोटा सा. Now the fourth is SEBI one-time IPO relaxation, and it is important. IPO observation validity was extended from 12 to 18 months. ये लिख लेना, right? 6 months extensions for approval expiring from April September 2026. The minimum public shareholding requirement remains 25%. The promoter locks in stays unchanged at 18 months. Now, please try to understand. The SEBI granted a one-time extensions for IPO approvals that were set to expire between April 1st and September 30th, 2026, pushing their validity to September 30th, 2026. ये read कर लो. Observation and validity extension 18 months कर दिया गया है. Minimum public shareholding MPS, that is the mandatory 25% MPS requirement remains in place. However, SEBI temporarily paused penal actions like freezing promoter shareholdings for companies unable to meet MPS dilution timelines between April 1st and September 30th, 2026. The promoter lock-in is the 18-month promoter lock-in period for public issues remains strictly, that is being unchanged, right? Right. Now try to understand the fifth news, which is telling about the PFRDA approves PPFAS AMC as an NPS National Fund sponsor, right? So ये PFRDA examination के लिए भी very important है. Even the NPS notification is soon coming. The new slab-based NPS investment management fee, which is effectively 1st April 2026, is 0.12% for non-government AUM. ठीक है? Up to 25,000 crore, falling as AUM. NPS tax exit is rupees up to 2 lakh, rupees 1.5 lakh से under 80 से, plus rupees 50,000 under 80 CCCD. From 1st January क्या कर दिया गया? Schedule commercial banks may set up their own position. अब देखो ये 1.5 से 2 lakh कर दिया गया है. Are you getting my point? ये point please have a look of it. The schedule commercial bank may set up their own pension funds. Now, just a minute. Yeah. And sixth, again, in April month, I will not repeat it again. मैंने monetary policy बहुत डिटेल में समझाया था. Right, देखो. The monetary policy report, the first MPR of financial year 2026 and 2027, still it is same. Repo rate को बोला गया still it is 5.25, SDF 5.0, MSF 5.5, bank rate 5.5, GDP 6.9, ठीक है। एस्टिमेशन ग्रोथ एंड ये कितना बता दिया गया 7.6 यूजिंग द न्यू 2023-22 बेस ईयर। आई हैव टोल्ड यू, सब किसी ने 24 बोला, किसी ने 2022 बोला सीपीआई बेस ईयर। इट इज यूजिंग द न्यू 2022-23 बेस ईयर। देखो बेस ईयर उस ईयर को सेलेक्ट किया जाता है जिसमें बहुत ज्यादा चेंजेस उस साल नहीं हुआ है। आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो थिंक अबाउट इट। हेडलाइन सीपीआई फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2027 4.6%, टारगेट 4.0%। कोर इन्फ्लेशन, कोर इन्फ्लेशन फर्स्ट टाइम इट हैज बीन एडेड। कोर इन्फ्लेशन पहले आरबीआई नहीं बता रहा था, बट इट इज नाउ गेटिंग एडेड। कोर इन्फ्लेशन इज फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2027 4.4% अकॉर्डिंग टू द अप्रैल मंथ मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी रिपोर्ट। ठीक है, बाई मंथली आता है ना ये, दैट्स व्हाई द first time the RBI officially gave a core projection. It is 4.4%, GDP financial year 6.9%, 7.6 year. अब GDP estimation for the financial year 2026 बता दिया गया। वेस्ट एशिया कॉन्फ्लिक्ट की वजह से it has been started. द स्टैंस ये डिफाइन कर लो क्या क्या स्टैंसेस होता है। न्यूट्रल स्टैंस क्या होता है, कॉमोडेटिव स्टैंस क्या होता है, टाइटनिंग हॉकिश स्टैंस क्या होता है, विड्रॉल ऑफ एकोमोडेशन क्या होता है, कैलिब्रेटेड टाइटनिंग क्या होता है। दिस इज ऑल आई हैव डिस्कस्ड इन माय आरबीआई ग्रेड बी कोर्स। आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू टेल यू, दिस इज फॉर योर नॉलेज, इट हैज बीन एडेड इन द पीडीएफ। ठीक है, तो अभी भी स्टैंस क्या है, न्यूट्रल ही है। देखो इन दी मंथ ऑफ अप्रैल, फरवरी में भी न्यूट्रल था, मंथ ऑफ अप्रैल में भी आरबीआई मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी इट इज न्यूट्रल अगेन। ठीक है, नाउ सेवेंथ seventh news which is telling about faster cross border inward payments. Banks, please try to understand. Banks must now credit inbound foreign remittance in real time, hourly reconciliation of nostro account, and a 24-hour credit rule. That is penal interest beyond T plus one. ठीक है, ठीक है। What is Loro account? Please try to understand. Loro account क्या होता है? From Italian for theirs, a term used by a third bank when referring to a settlement or account arrangement between two other banks। ठीक है, लोरो अकाउंट थर्ड बैंक के लिए यूज किया जाता है रेफरिंग स्टेटमेंट के लिए, ये याद रखना, बस इतनी छोटी छोटी चीजें याद रखना। नॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट क्या होता है? इट इज आवर अकाउंट हेल्ड विद अ फॉरेन बैंक। ठीक है, सपोज करो कि एसबीआई यूएसडी अकाउंट इन न्यूयॉर्क, इट इज अ नॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट। और वॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट क्या होता है? रिवर्स, फॉरेन बैंक इन इंडिया, दैट इज सपोज करो एचएसबीसी। इज इट क्लियर? दिस इज वॉस्ट्रो अकाउंट, याद रखना। तो फास्टर क्रॉस बॉर्डर ब्रॉडर इनवर्ड पेमेंट्स कर दिया गया है, पेनल इंटरेस्ट रेट T+1 साइकिल, मतलब 24 आवर क्रेडिट रूल। मीन्स अर्लियर सेटलमेंट में, क्रॉस बॉर्डर पेमेंट में टाइम लगता था सेटलमेंट में। नाउ इट इज कि आपको 1 आवर के अंदर यू हैव टू सेटल इट। दिस इज फास्टर क्रॉस बॉर्डर इनवर्ड पेमेंट्स। ठीक है, नाउ नाउ द एट न्यूज विच इज टेलिंग अबाउट, please have a look, that is state borrowing planning, that is for Q1 financial year 2027 benchmark issuance strategy. States will collectively borrow rupees 2.54 lakh crore, rupees 2,54,509 crore via state development loans in April June 2026. A new benchmark issuance strategy is a pilot in 9 states which standardizes bonds into 5, 10, 15 or 30-year maturities to make them more liquid and easier to price. अब ये याद रखना for your prelims examination, the top 5 states with the highest total outstanding debt and maximum market borrowings via SDL includes what? तमिलनाडु फर्स्ट रैंक पे, फिफ्थ पे क्या है? वेस्ट बंगाल, बीच पे सेकंड, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ प्लीज ट्राई टू रिमेंबर, दैट इज उत्तर प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र एंड कर्नाटक। इज इट क्लियर? आई होप इट इज क्लियर। So the ninth news, what it is telling about? The ninth news is telling the FX derivative tightening. It is FX derivative which is tightening rupee near rupees 95. A derivative RBI has introduced. That's why it is not letting the US dollar, मतलब rupee to in comparison of US dollar to move it more further. ये यहाँ पर रोक दिया है rupees 95. Which derivative? This is FX derivative tightening. And it is very important to understand because इससे rupee weak होगी, right? So which derivative RBI has used? FX. So please try to remember this. It is very important news. So that is to curb speculation, the RBI has banned non-deliverable forwards, that is NDF, on the rupee for domestic entities banned offsetting speculating pairing of genuine hedges ban। ठीक है, अब ये देखना कैप्ड ओवरनाइट कितना था एनओपी एनआईआर के USD 100 बिलियन। एनडीएफ क्या होता है? प्लीज हैव अ लुक। नॉन डिलीवरेबल फॉरवर्ड्स क्या होता है? प्लीज हैव अ लुक। तो एनडीएफ इज अ करेंसी दैट बेट सेटल्ड ओनली इन कैश, मतलब इसमें रेट डिफरेंस सेटल किया जाता है विद नो एक्चुअल एक्सचेंज ऑफ डॉलर एंड रुपीज। एक्चुअली एक्सचेंज नहीं होता, जो डिफरेंस बचता है उसको एक्सचेंज किया जाता है। So a non-deliverable forward NDF is a cash-settled short-term derivative contract. It is used to hedge or speculate on currencies that are illiquid or restricted by a capital. देखो डेरिवेटिव क्या होता है शॉर्ट टर्म में मैं बोलूं, सो ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड डेरिवेटिव इज अ टाइप, मतलब देखो प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड डेरिवेटिव क्या होता है। सपोज करो एक अगर कोई फॉरनर है, सपोज करो नेम ले लो लाइक एनीथिंग, Fishy is a foreigner name I'm taking, and she wants to invest. She is an investor banker, and she wants to invest in the mutual fund of India. So she has to go under the KYC norms given by the SEBI, right? But she don't want such kind of a burden that she should give their details to the SEBI regulatory body, and then she should buy the shares of Indian stock market, right? In Indian stock market. So while doing that, she will do? She will go to any foreign investment institution. What she will do? She will not directly go uh, to directly buy the Infosys share. Suppose she wants to buy Infosys share, right? She will not directly go in India and buy the Infosys shares in online market. What she will do? She will go to the foreign investment institution, and on behalf of Fishy, what this organization will do? They will have a contract with India's SEBI regulation। अब उन्होंने अपना डिटेल शेयर कर लिया है, एंड उसके बदले व्हाट दे विल गिव अ इंस्ट्रूमेंट, राइट, ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ दैट, ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द शेयर शी हैज बाइड ऑन फ्रॉम इन्फोसिस। मतलब फिशी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से जो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन है, दे विल गो एंड बाई शेयर्स ऑफ इन्फोसिस ऑन हर बिहाफ, एंड उसके बिहाफ पे वो एक इंस्ट्रूमेंट दे देंगे, एंड वो इंस्ट्रूमेंट की अगर वो इंस्ट्रूमेंट की रेट बढ़ती है, मतलब इंडिया जो इन्फोसिस शेयर्स हैज बीन इंक्रीज। तो डेरिवेटिव कंपोनेंट क्या होता है? इट इज एन अंडरलाइनिंग एसेट, जो वो एसेट डायरेक्टली इन्फोसिस शेयर लेती। सो ही हैज गॉन टू अ फॉरेन इंस्टीट्यूशन एंड ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ हर, मतलब उसने ये सब सारी चीजें क्यों की? जस्ट टू अवॉइड द लीगल प्रोसेस डन बाय सेबी, कि जो वो केवाईसी नॉर्म्स है उसको वो अवॉइड करना चाह रही थी। सो ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ दैट एनी फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन इज डूइंग दैट। इज इट क्लियर? एंड वो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन फिशी को एक डेरिवेटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट बना के दे रहे हैं कि इफ दैट डेरिवेटिव इंस्ट्रूमेंट इज इंक्रीजिंग मींस दैट इंश्योरेंस द इन्फोसिस शेयर प्राइस इज गेटिंग इंक्रीज। दैट इज द कंसेप्ट ऑफ डेरिवेटिव। ठीक है, तो अब ये डेरिवेटिव का कंसेप्ट समझ में आया है, तो तुम ये समझो कि नॉन डिलीवरेबल फॉरवर्ड क्या है, ठीक है, अंडर द डेरिवेटिव, व्हाई इट हैज बीन बैन। तो ये सेटल्ड कैश डिफरेंस को बस ये होता है विदाउट एक्सचेंजिंग एनीथिंग। तो ये फंक्शन कैसे करता है, इस चीज को आरबीआई टाइटन किया है, राइट। इफ आरबीआई हैज टाइटेंड, देन इसी वजह से जो रुपी की जो वैल्यू है वो बहुत ज्यादा और बढ़ नहीं रही है इन कंपैरिजन विद डॉलर, एंड इट इज अ वेरी गुड स्टेट इन माय पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू। Surely an interview question can be framed from this. I'm betting you, all of you, those who are giving the interview, they will understand what I am trying to say. Now, now the 10th question, which is telling about small savings rates, that is for quarter one financial year 2027, that has been unchanged. That is 8th straight quarter. And it is very, because it will be repeated in your flagship scheme as well. So Kanya Samriddhi, that is 8.2%. Senior citizen savings, that is 8.2%, and NSC, that is 7.7%. Kisan Vikas Patra, that is 7.5%. Please everyone note it down. Matures in 115 months. PPF 7.1%, MIS 7.4%, savings account 4%. The Shyamala Gopinath Committee, that is 2011, recommended this rates be set 25 से 100 BPS, that is above comparable government security yields. All saving money flows through the National Small Saving Funds, that is set up by 1999. SSY main points क्या है? Please try to understand small saving rates main point क्या है? Interest rate क्या है सुकन्या समृद्धि योजना में? That is 8.2%, reviewed and announced quarterly by the Ministry of Finance. Age limit, it is under 10 years. Girl child के लिए है. Try to understand. Investment limit क्या है? Minimum deposit is rupees 250 per financial year. Maximum allowed to rupees 1.5 lakh. Is it clear? Tenure, the account matures in 21st years from the date of opening, but deposits are only required for the first 15 years. Is it clear? Tax benefit, investments under section 80C ठीक है, सेक्शन 80C में यू विल गेट अ टैक्स बेनिफिट, will earn interest and the maturity proceeds are entirely tax free, triple E status. Partial withdrawal. In case of, in what case you can have a partial withdrawal? In case of Sukanya Samriddhi, that is up to 50% accumulated balance can be withdrawn for the girl's higher education after she turns what, 18 or passes the 10th standard. Account limit, parents or legal guardians can open a maximum 2 accounts, one for each girl child. A third account is permitted if there are twin girls in the first or second birth. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right. So this is all about the small saving rates, and you have to note it down each and every point. 11th news for the day, right? For the March, sorry, April month. That is CME deferral confirmed to 1st July 2026. So what it is telling about? Aggregate CME 40% of tier 1 loan against securities rupees 1 crore. IPO ESOP is rupees 225 lakh. CMI proprietary credit needs 100% cash collateral. Equity underwriting limit raised to what? 20% of issue size from 5% to 10%. Acquisition finance that has been capped 20% of the eligible capital base. INVITs and REITs is now treated at par listed equity. Is it clear? Is it clear? This is all about the share, the mind map. You should understand it more clearly, right? And you will have a more understanding. Please read it down. Okay? Now, 12th. 12th news, what it is telling about? 12th news is telling about the Ujivan SFB Universal Bank application that has been returned. Why? A small finance banks can apply to become a full universal bank. अब इसके लिए आपको समझना होगा कि स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक को यूनिवर्सल बैंक वाई। क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ बैंक में सबसे पहला क्लासिफिकेशन होता है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1949। बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1949 में ये आरबीआई तब देता है ये लाइसेंस बैंक, एक कंपनी को बैंक बनने के लिए, when there are certain conditions under banking regulation act कि this company can only lend, they can't give the, they can't take the deposit, or they can only take the deposit, they can't give the loan, और बहुत सारे PSL के conditions होते हैं if they are fulfilling it, financial inclusion के बहुत सारे conditions होते हैं if they are fulfilling। तो सारे कंडीशंस मिला के एक एक्ट के अंदर रखा गया, दैट इज बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1949। तो पहला क्लासिफिकेशन किसी भी कंपनी का बैंक के बेसिस पे ये होता है कि इफ एनी कंपनी इज फॉलोइंग ऑल कंडीशंस ऑफ बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1949, उसको यूनिवर्सल बैंक बोला जाता है। और इफ दे आर फॉलोइंग सर्टेन कंडीशंस, मींस दे वांट टू ओनली लोन, दे डोंट वांट टू टेक डिपॉजिट, तो उसको डिफरेंशिएटेड बैंक के अंदर कैटेगरी में रखा जाता है। तो स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक है वो डिफरेंशिएटेड बैंक की कैटेगरी के अंदर है, राइट। एंड जितना भी आप शेड्यूल कमर्शियल बैंकिंग देख रहे हो, और जितनी भी जितनी भी पब्लिक सेक्टर बैंक, प्राइवेट सेक्टर बैंक या फॉरेन बैंक आप देख रहे हो, दे ऑल आर अंडर द कैटेगरी ऑफ यूनिवर्सल बैंक। आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो यूनिवर्सल बैंक में अगर वो आ रहे हैं, मींस दे आर फॉलोइंग ऑल कंडीशन दैट हैज बीन रिटन अंडर द बैंकिंग रेगुलेशन एक्ट ऑफ 1949। अब ये न्यूज क्या बोल रहा है कि उज्जीवन एसएफबी, दैट इज अ स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक, can apply to become a full universal bank, means they are able to fulfill all the condition that has been written to the banking regulation act of 1949। ये पहला क्लासिफिकेशन है, ये पहले ऑब्जेक्टिव पे मैंने क्लासिफाई किया बैंक को, यूनिवर्सल और डिफरेंशिएटेड, ठीक है। ओनली इफ इट इज डाइवर्सिफाइड, द क्राइटेरिया इज शेड्यूल कमर्शियल बैंक फॉर 5 years, ये समझ लो। लिस्टेड नेटवर्थ इज रुपीज 1000 करोड़ से ज्यादा होना चाहिए। GNPA, that is gross NPA below 3%, and NNPA, that is net NNPA, ये तो 1% से नीचे होना चाहिए, ठीक है। प्रॉफिटेबल फॉर 2+ years and a diversified not monoline loan book। उज्जीवन मेड एवरी टेस्ट एक्सेप्ट डाइवर्सिफिकेशन, ये सारा टेस्ट मेड कर गया एक्सेप्ट डाइवर्सिफिकेशन। इट्स secured loans were only about 48% of advances, so the application was getting returned। Are you getting my point? Are you all getting my point? So please try to understand this news, the 12th news for the circular. The 13th for the April month is Shirpur Cooperative Bank license is getting cancelled। अब ये लाइसेंस क्यों कैंसिल हुआ होगा, सोच के देखो, सोच के देखो। डिपोजिटर्स को ये पैसे ही नहीं दे पा रहे होंगे। आर यू गेटिंग माई पॉइंट? ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। फिर DICGC इसमें इंटरफेयर करेगा एंड 5 लाख रुपीज वो देगा। बट अच्छी बात क्या है कि बहुत सारे डिपोजिटर्स, उनकी 5 लाख से नीचे ही अमाउंट थी। रिसेंट 98% डिपोजिटर को होली पेमेंट मिल गया, बिकॉज उस शिरपुर कोऑपरेटिव बैंक में 5 लाख से नीचे की ही डिपॉजिट रखे थे। इसमें एनपीए अकाउंट ज्यादा होगा, बेसल नॉर्म्स को सीआरएआर और this they are provisioning they are not maintaining, so RBI is cancelling the license of Banking Regulation Act of 1949. It is very easy to understand which bank, which is Shirpur Cooperative Bank license cancelled. ठीक है, so try to understand what it has been written. The bank become insolvent and could not repay depositor. देखो जो मैंने बोला वही लिखा हुआ है. Each depositors can claim up to rupees 5 lakh from the DICGC, right? So about 98% of the depositors, it has been written, were fully covered. Ground sections 11 subsection 1 and 22 subsection 3 of Banking Regulation Act of 1949. This is all about the 13th news for the month of April. Now, 14th news, what it is telling about. 14th news is telling the IRDI is domestically systematically important issuers. अब जैसे DSIB होता है, right? उसी तरह IRDI ने DSSIB बता दिया. DSIB, which three banks are DSIB? Which is domestically systematically important banks. If they will fail, right? Please write it down in the comment. Which is DSIB? Which banks are DSIB? Which, if they will fail, the economy of India will be getting collapsed. Please write it down. So IRDI are the regulator of insurance. Yes, SBI, SDFC, and ICICI. Similarly, they have given three insurance company. If they will fail, the insurance there will be insurance delays, and there will be it's too big to fail. They will also fail problems in insurance. That is LIC, GIC reinsurance, and NIACL. So you should understand nothing much in this news. Okay, is it clear? Now, 15th news for the day is Asset Classification, Provisioning, and Income Recognition Direction 2026. Expected credit loss. So it is what it is telling about. Please have a look. It is telling the context. This is the biggest banking accounting reform since early 1990, right? And it is very important circular news. India moved from old incurred losses models, provisioning only after a loan goes bad, to the expected credit loss, that is ECL model, which is providing in advances based on how risky a loan looks, mirroring global IFRS 9 and Ind AS 109. I have told you already कि IFRS क्या है. It is International Financial Reporting Standard. उसके बेसिस पे इंडियन अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड बनाया गया. आज जो इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग स्टैंडर्ड 9 है, उसी में इंडियन अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड में ये ऐड किया गया 109, राइट? what it has been added, expected credit loss ECL model. ठीक है, तो अब इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा लिख लो in your A4 size paper. It has been effective from 1st April 2027. The one-time hit can be spread over 4-5 years. Tapering to 2020, 2030 to 2031. Applies to what? All scheduled commercial bank, which is private, public, foreign, but excludes, ये important point है, regional rural payment banks and small finances bank. These three strategic classification by significant increase in credit risk, which is stage 1, healthy, 0 to 30 days past due, 12-month ECL regulatory floor 0.40, unsecured retail about 1%, stage 2, which is telling about the 30 plus days past due warning, lifetime ECL floor 5.0%, and stage 3 is telling about the 90 plus past due NPA equal to lifetime ECL floor up to 100%, right? So the core formula is ECL equal to probability of default multiplied by loss given default LGD multiplied by exposure at default, that is EAD. तो कंटेगियन रूल क्या it is telling about, I'm not going to repeat it. ये बस समझ लो कि a bonus rule it is more than 3 days. तो ये सारी चीजें समझ लो, and this is all about it. Effective date समझ लो, spread क्या है, किस बैंक को इंक्लूड किया गया, किस बैंक को हटाया गया, more than 3 days का मतलब क्या है, right? This is only important for your prelims, and heading is important. Now, let's discuss with the 16th news for the April month. It is capital charge for credit risk, that is standardized approach direction 2026. What it is telling about? Just a minute. Right. So it is telling about the context is what? Please have a look. Context is telling this completes India's adaptations of Basel III, detecting exactly how much capital backs each kind of loan. Effective from 1st April 2027, it applies what? It applies all scheduled commercial banks, include small finance banks and foreign banks. which excludes regional rural banks, payment banks and local area banks. मिनिमम ये रट लेना. दिस आई हैव ऑलरेडी told you. कैपिटल कंजर्वेशन बफर मार्च मंथ में भी मैंने बताया था 9% है, राइट, बट 2.5% कैपिटल कंजर्वेशन बफर, तो टोटल 11.5% है. ट्रिपल ए रेटिंग में कितना रखना है? 20%, डबल ए में 30%, ए में 50%, ट्रिपल बी में इट हैव टू बी 75 से 100%, डबल बी में 150%, अनरेटेड में 100% रखना है प्रोविजनिंग, एंड इज इट टू 150. आई हैव टोल्ड यू. होम लोन एलटीवी मंथली मींस लोन टू वैल्यू रेशियो कितना है? 80%, 80%, 35% से 80-90%, 89% में 50%. कमर्शियल रियल एस्टेट्स इज 100 से 150%. एंड प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंसेस में देख लो, राइट, नॉन स्प्लिट अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन और प्री ऑपरेशनल है तो 130% है द हायर रिस्क. ठीक है. ऑपरेशनल हाई 80%, ऑब्जेक्ट फाइनेंसेस 100%, लार्ज एमएसएमई 75%. The output floors, even a bank using sophisticated internal models cannot let its capital requirement fall below 72.5% of the standardized approach would give a safety net against banks gaming their model. Now, it is credit guarantee CGT MSME micro loans up to rupees 5 lakh to get 85% coverage. यही इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है. इसी जिसी ये देख लो. अब ये जो टेबल है ना, ये जो टेबल है दैट इज बेसल 3 एट अ ग्लांस, ये एक दो बार अपने कॉपी में आज के दिन में बना लेना, राइट. तो यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या मिला हुआ है. टीयर 1 कैपिटल रेशियो में क्या है, CET1 रेशियो में क्या है, कैपिटल बफर ECCB में क्या है, राइट. काउंटर साइक्लिक बफर क्या है, टोटल कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, लिक्विडिटी कवरेज रेशियो व्हाट इट इज, नेट स्टेबल फंडिंग रेशियो क्या है, लेवरेजेस रेशियो क्या है, एंड GSII सरचार्ज क्या है. इसके डिटेल में मत जाओ, बस ये याद रखना, ये डेटा याद रखना. इट कैन बी आस्क्ड. ठीक है. नाउ 17 circular which is showing about digital payments e-mandate framework. Please have a look. Digital payments e-mandate framework, what it is telling? It is telling about effective from 21st April 2026 under the PSS Act 2007. What it is telling, right? Setting up, modifying or cancelling a mandate needs an additional factor of authentication, that is AFA. A pre-debit notification must be sent at least 25 hours below the debit. अगर if you want to calculate the e-mandate कब होता है? When you are taking any loan या you are taking any subscription, right? जैसे आप Amazon Pay, all of you are aware. This is very easy to understand. तो e-mandate होता है कि annual subscription के लिए monthly if you are taking या annually taking, if you are quarterly taking, तो after that it is for restricted time it has e-mandate through your credit through your debit card or net banking, right? It is getting approved. ठीक है. But अभी अगर आपको e-mandate कैंसिल करना है तो AFA इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया है, मींस एडिशनल फैक्टर ऑफ ऑथेंटिफिकेशन. इफ यू वांट टू कैंसिल एनी ई मैंडेट 24 आवर्स प्रायर आपको बताना होगा. दिस इज ओनली इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक है. इज इट क्लियर? AFA is a free per transaction limits above which an OTP biometric is mandatory each time. ठीक है. General recurring payments rupees 15,000, insurance payments, mutual fund subscription and credit card limits rupees 1 lakh. क्रेडिट कार्ड देखो और इंश्योरेंस पेमेंट में 1 लाख है. जनरल रिकरिंग पेमेंट्स में कितना है? रुपीज 15,000. Bank cannot charge customer e-mandate, FASTag and NCMS auto replacement are exempt from pre-notification. देखो ये इसको इस चीज को exempt कर दिया गया, तो प्लीज हैव अ लुक. इज इट क्लियर? तो लिमिट स्टैंडर्ड AFA फ्री मैंडेट कितना है? 15,000. इंश्योरेंस के लिए 1 लाख. प्री डेबिट अलर्ट कितना में? 24 आवर्स बिफोर डेबिट. रजिस्ट्रेशन मैंडेट AFA मैंडेटरी. कस्टमर लायबिलिटी प्रॉम्प्ट रिपोर्टिंग जीरो लायबिलिटी. कस्टमर की कोई लायबिलिटी नहीं है इसमें. इफ इट इज गेटिंग डेबिटेड तो यू हैव टू कंप्लेन इट ombudsman. ठीक है. नाउ पहले बैंक से करो, then ombudsman. Now 18th news for the April month is UCB concentration risk management amendment to 2026, that is urban cooperative bank. What it is telling about? Effective from 1st October 2026, which is tightening unsecured lending by urban cooperative banks. It is telling about the aggregate unsecured loans that has been capped at 20% of the total advances. Priority sector loans up to rupees 50,000 per borrower are being excluded. Is what it is, are being excluded. Are you getting my point? Just a minute. Right? So try to understand the borrower levels caps tier 1 rupees 5 lakh, tier 2 rupees 7.5 lakh, and tier 3 is 3 से 4 lakh. Tier 3 and 4 is rupees 10 lakh. Sorry. The nominal member consumer durables loans capped at rupees 2.5 lakh. Receivables count as secured only if due within 180 days. The cap is waived for government receivables within an escrow arrangement. ठीक है. So UCB 4 tier framework that is 2022 टीयर 1 इज डिपॉजिट अप टू ₹100 crore। इसमें क्रेडिट रिस्क एसेट रेशियो कितना रखना है, दैट इज 9%। टीयर 2, 3 पे कितना रखना है, 12% ऑफ CRAR। UCBs are under dual control. The RBI for banking functions, the registrar cooperative societies for administrative matters. Now, 19th, that is Paytm Payment Bank license has been cancelled, and it is only important news. So I will not read it, this news. Why? Because it is just, this news is enough to understand. And why the reason is, the reason you can check, the reason you can check, because it is was frequently in the news. ठीक है, SLR 75% को भी वो, SLR कोटा को you can't put. Only in the case of MSF you can put. I have told you. But they are using the SLR quota as well. ठीक है? And can demand deposit up to ₹12 lakh. Issue debits का ये वो. So please try to understand कि Paytm Payment Bank's license has been cancelled under the section 24, 22, subsection 4. This will only come in your prelims paper. So 19th news, right? In the main point of view you can mention, but prelims के लिए बस इतना जानना है कि किस बैंक का, किस पेमेंट बैंक का लाइसेंस कैंसिल कर दिया गया है, राइट? सो 20th news is telling about the SARC currency swap, and it is important. SARC currency swap, what it is? First INR that has been drawn down. Please try to understand. ये एक important news है. India has been approved the rupee drawdown. The 30 billion from Maldives in INR, not USD, reducing the Maldives' need for scarce dollars and advancing the rupee internationalization. The INR swap window has corpus कितना, ₹250 billion, ठीक है? Separate USD Euro window is USD 2 billion. All 8 SARC members are eligible, ठीक है? All 8 SARC members are eligible. Now, please try to have a glimpse of it. With the MCQ, I will be covering if it is in the list. But the swap facility versus RBI project Nexus, ये क्या है? Please have a look. Data important for your prelims. USD Euro window कितना है? Overall corpus of $2 billion, ये याद रखो. Please note it down in your A4 size. INR window क्या है? A distinct of ₹250 billion window featuring favorable consequences to promoters' local currency. That it is telling about. Now, we will look about some other important April month news is and development in the circular point of view. Wait a minute. Yeah, that is this. पहला है Shri Ram Finances. What it is telling about? Shri Ram Finances received a principal approval to run a primary dealer business. Very good point. A primary dealer underwrites government bonds, auctions, and makes markets in government securities. These are standalone PDs, NBFCs, and bank PDs, bank running a PD. तो श्री राम फाइनेंस को मिला है. MobiKwik का क्या न्यूज है, प्लीज हैव अ लुक. MobiKwik got a NBFC registration, and it is very good for MobiKwik. Shifting from lending service provider, sourcing loans for partners banks, to lending off its own balance sheets. Mission Section. Mission Section is what? A pan-India capacity building program for urban cooperative bank sector, targeting 1.40 lakh participants. This is all we have talked about the mission section. देखो मिशन सेक्शन के बारे में की डिटेल्स दिया हुआ है थ्रू दी चार्ट. जस्ट अ मिनट, राइट? प्लीज हैव अ लुक ऑफ इट. देखो, दिस इज मिशन सेक्शंस. इट इज सहकारी बैंक क्षमता निर्माण. This is all about this. So I have already discussed this thing in my full-fledged Panchsutra course, right? But just you have to read it. It is Mission Saksham Sahakari Bank Shamta Nirman is a comprehensive national-wide capacity building and certification framework launched by RBI. ठीक है? तो ये किस चीज के लिए किया गया है? First announced in the February monetary policy and officially unveiled in the late April 2026, the initiative is to design what? Strength and primary urban and cooperative bank. ठीक है? The name Saksham translates a capable or competent, reflecting the initiative's ultimate to modernize the 45 cooperative banking from ground up. तो ये क्या क्या कोर ऑब्जेक्टिव्स है, प्लीज हैव अ लुक. ये 4 चीज याद रख लेना. Enhancing managerial and operational capabilities, strengthening compliance and culture, improving institutional resilience, establishing continuous learning. ठीक है? Key features क्या क्या है, right? Key features of the initiative is massive scale, right? Inclusive target groups, blended learning model. blended आप इंटरेस्ट रेट भी सुने होंगे, राइट? सो ब्लेंडेड लर्निंग मॉडल भी क्या है कि बहुत सारी चीजों से मिक्सचर. रीजनल लैंग्वेज डिलीवरी, कोलैबोरेटिव डिजाइन. बस आपको रीड करना है 1 से 2 बार, to read it, मतलब आपकी सबकॉन्शियस में आनी चाहिए ये चीज कि व्हाट इज ई सक्षम, कि आपको पता रहे इफ समवन इज आस्किंग यू, यू आर नॉट अ ब्लैंक, राइट, एट दैट टाइम। ठीक है, चलो। पे ऑन पॉइंट इंडिया, अनदर न्यूज is become PayPoint India become the first private fintech with the direct memberships of the RBI centralized payment system। ये इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज है, आ जाएगा। वैसे मैं बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंस में भी सच न्यूज विल बी गेटिंग कवर्ड। इट्स ओन IFSC नो स्पॉन्सर बैंक। इज इट क्लियर? इट्स ओन IFSC नो स्पॉन्सर बैंक, so please try to understand now। uh, let's see। हाँ, तो ये सक्षम के बारे में और दिया गया है, राइट, सो यू विल हैव। अब ये देखो, ये माइंड मैप पढ़ लेना मिशन सक्षम के बारे में, राइट। नाउ natural calamities master direction and SLBC, that state level, ठीक है, जो मैंने बताया था, स्पेशल मीटिंग विद इन 15 days to declaration on standard accounts not in default beyond 30 days qualify, relief must be evoked within 45 days and implemented within 135 days। ये सारा डेटा लिख लो। SLBC अभी मैंने समझाया था when I was discussing, राइट, SLBC मैंने तुम्हें अभी समझाया था। इज एवरीवन गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? स्टेट लेवल, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल, स्टेट लेवल बैंकर्स कमेटी है ये, राइट, एवरीवन शुड अंडरस्टैंड। ठीक है, अब ये देखो, SLBC मीटिंग, अ स्पेशल स्टेट लेवल बैंकर कमेटी मीटिंग मस्ट बी कवर्ड विद इन 15 days। ये याद रखना, डेटा इंपॉर्टेंट है। एलिजिबिलिटी क्या है? रिलीफ इज एक्सक्लूसिवली अवेलेबल टू अकाउंट्स क्लासिफाइड एज स्टैंडर्ड। ठीक है, जिसको अकाउंट को किसको किया गया स्टैंडर्ड, अकाउंट्स इन डिफॉल्ट फॉर 30 days और लेस, इट विल बी गेटिंग relief application and implementations। Borrowers must have relief evoked within 45 days of the disaster declaration and the packages must be fully implemented within 135 days। सूतो मोटिव एक्शंस। अब देखो, ये वाली न्यूज फिर से आ रही है, राइट, इन एडिशनल रिपोर्ट्स। जस्ट लेट मी शेयर दिस न्यूज, दैट इज AD1 FX डेरिवेटिव रिपोर्टिंग। इज इट क्लियर? सो यू शुड रिपीट इट। ठीक है, अब ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज है, राइट। मतलब आई होप सो दैट क्वेश्चन विल बी फ्रेम फ्रॉम दिस। दिस इज AD1 FX derivative reporting expanded to related parties report within T+2 may skip trades with notion under USD 1 million, phased 100% coverage by July 2028। The Reserve Bank of India mandates that authorized dealer category 1, that is AD-CAT 1, banks report over-the-counter OTC foreign exchange derivative contracts involving the Indian rupee INR। This includes global transaction by offshore related parties with phased reporting to 100%। Coverage कितना है? July 1st, 2028। What to report? All OTC INR linked derivatives, that is deliverable and non-deliverable, encompassing parent companies, subsidiaries, and entities under common control timeline. Trade must be reported to the Trade Repository and of the Clearing Corporation of India Limited, that is CCIL, preferably on the trade date and no later than T+2 working day। It is very important. Notion how many days it can be asked, that is no later than T+2 working days। Notional exempt banks can skip reporting transaction with a notional value under USD 1 million। Forex hedging ease, ये देखो what it is in the news। Genuine intra-group back-to-back hedges were re-allowed after the April 1st tightening overshot the USD 100 millions NOP INR cap stays. The rupee had fallen but 11% over financial year 2026। ठीक है, now the another news for the day is Harbinger 2024, the RBI's fourth hackathon। ठीक है, 496 proposals winning award of rupees 440 lakh per problem statement। It is rupees 40 lakh per problem stated it has been given। So please have a look। Just 1 minute, it is getting hanged। Right, so PMS, the last report, Harbinger का report देख लेना। Portfolio management services, that is a minimum investment is rupees 50 lakh, that is AIF, rupees 1 crore. A portfolio manager hold a minimum net worth of rupees 5 crore। Is it clear? This is all about April month circular, right? We have covered the 4-month circular, right? Right. So it's all about April month. Let me drink water, then I will start the class for May month. right? So let's start with the May 2026, that is 1st to 31st. I'm going to discuss. First circular news is Fifth Amendment, that is capital adequacy prudential norm. देखो capital adequacy I'm going not going to teach you again. इसमें आपको risk weight से RBI giving the amendments regularly on regular each month you will see इंटरिम प्रॉफिट्स पे CET1 पे दे देगा, कभी CRAR पे दे देगा, कभी प्रोविजनिंग बोल देगा हाई रखने। वाई? बिकॉज बेसल नॉर्म इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज एनपीए रिकवरी इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट। ठीक है। एंड डिपोजिटर को डिपोजिटर की डिपोजिटिंग सेविंग्स इंटरेस्ट इन करंट करंट इंटरेस्ट रेट इफ दे वांट टू गिव इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? व्हाई? बिकॉज अगर बैंकिंग ट्रस्ट खत्म होगी। इज इट क्लियर? So now try to, that's why RBI always comes with the capital adequacy potential norms. You will every time hear in these things news in the circular. Context: banks earn profit through the year, but earlier what is was happening? There could count mid-year unaudited profits towards core capital. Only with special RBI approvals or rough estimates, slow and opaque. The Fifth Amendment lets bank and add interim quarterly profit to CET1 using a fixed, transparent formula. It applies to commercial banks, SFB, and payment banks. ठीक है? किसके लिए it is important for your prelims? Commercial bank, SFB, small finance bank, and payment bank. Two condition what it is? पहला है the quarter financial must be externally audited or limited reviewed, which is internal accounts are not enough. B, a safety margin haircuts which applies because the bank may pay dividends from those profits. The formula, it is not important for your examination. Just read it. If a bank shows a cumulative loss in a quarter, the entire loss must be deducted from CET1 immediately, which is Basel 3. CET1 minimum is 4.5 plus 2.5 buffer, which is effectively given 7%. Now, please try to understand the simple concept, what it is telling about. Just a minute. The simple concept is telling about earlier RBI क्या बोला था? You can count quarterly profit as capital only if your NPA provisioning pattern was double. Now RBI is saying what? We are removing that NPA related restrictions. If your quarterly accounts are audited, reviewed, you can include eligible profits for CET1 capital. Is it clear? Is anyone getting confusion what is CET1 capital? I hope everyone understands the meaning of it. Because time is limited, so I'm not going to teach you in each and everything. ठीक है? It is common equity tier 1 capital. ठीक है? क्योंकि मतलब try to understand CET is one of the most important banking concept for RBI grade B. समझ में आ रहा है? Is it clear? Everyone should understand. मतलब क्या करता है? Common equity tier 1 is the highest quality capital of a bank. क्या करता है? It absorbs losses first, then when a bank faces financial stress, ठीक है, it will give it. जैसे एग्जाम्पल से समझने की कोशिश करो कि एग्जाम्पल है कि बैंक एसेट, सपोज करो बैंक हैज एन एसेट ऑफ ₹1,000 करोड़, लोन बिकम्स बैड। ठीक है, ₹100 लोन उसमें से बैड हो गया, मीन्स वो तो बैंक के लिए लॉस है। तो हु एब्जॉर्ब्स द लॉस फर्स्ट? तो दैट इज CET1 कैपिटल. It is not the depositor, it is not the RBI, it is not the taxpayer. CET1 capital will absorb the loss first. Is it clear? Are you getting my point? बहुत सारे components होते हैं CET1 के, that is equity share capital, retained earnings, statutory reserves, other disclosed reserves. Are you getting my point, everyone? Is it clear? तो ये समझने की कोशिश करो. CET1 बार बार रिपीट हो रहा है, that's why I have explained you. Now, what is the expect an earlier rule and the revised rule? Now, inclusion of quarterly profits in CET1 that allowed only if NPA provisioning deviation is less than equal to 25% from previous year average. Revised rule क्या? Allowed without any condition. Now there is no condition. NPA provisioning condition क्या था? It is mandatory eligible criteria. Now it has been removed. ठीक है? Quarterly financial statement क्या था? It is being required, but now it is must be audited, limited, or reviewed every quarter. ठीक है? It is not only required. It is audited, limited, reviewed now. Amount eligible for CET based on existing framework, based on net profit plus average dividend payout ratio of last 3 years. What is the objective? It is conservation, recognition of profit, easier and more flexible capital computation. Effective date क्या है? Earlier framework. It is now immediate effect. Applicable to commercial banking, small finance banking, and अभी भी वही है. Is it clear? So I'm not going to teach you in detail, but मैंने जितनी चीजें समझाई, it is relevant for your understanding. ठीक है? चलो, let's discuss the second circular news. थोड़ा सा हैंग कर रहा है because maybe I guess 5 to 6 hours में. It slowly Zoom is also understanding. Now, second, easing rules for small finance bank, right? So try to understand. Effective is from 1st July 2026. A type 1 NBFC, which is a three cumulative conditions, no public funds, no customer interference, total assets below rupees 1000 crore, is getting exempted from registration. Everything else is type 2. Existing qualifying NBFC may deregister via which portal? Parvah portal by December 31st, December 2026. Submitting the original certification of registration, 3 years of audited statement, and auditor's certificate on a board resolution. The exemption is void the moment the NBFC takes up any overseas financial operations. Even exempt NBFCs remain subject to the RBI Act of 1934. A type 1 NBFC, that is non-banking financial company, is an entity that does not access public funds and has no customer interference. These are typically equity funded investment companies, family offices, treasury bills, vehicles, or group holding companies that RBI categorized non-deposit taking NBFC, ND into type 1, type 2, and to apply risk proportionate regulations. Is it clear? This is all about ease rules for financing. And nothing that I have read it for your understanding only. ठीक है? बस परवा पोर्टल देख लेना below rupees 1000 crore July 1st 2023 effective date क्या है? It is important for your prelims. Now ये खुद से read कर लेना please. Please. Type 1 companies can operate fast track licensing, जिसमें क्या है core investment company आ जाएगा CICs, capital finance arms आ जाएगा. The type 2 companies interact with the retail or corporate customers are highly regulated by RBI, right? They include prominent entities such as asset finance companies आ गया, retailer and lenders, that is Bajaj Finance Limited, Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Services Limited, gold loan providers, that is Muthoot Finance आ गया, Manappuram Finance आ गया, housing finance companies, which is HDFC, now merged with HDFC Bank, but typically of this type, and LIC Housing Finance Ltd, infrastructure finance companies, which is Power Finance Corporation and REC. ये सब याद रखो. टाइप 1 कंपनीज में क्या है, टाइप 2 में क्या है. Is it clear? Now, the third, which is important circular, is DFS Viability Plan 2.0 for Regional Rural Bank. So try to understand concept. Regional Rural Bank serve rural India. All we know, that is small farmers, laborers, artisans. Created the Regional Rural Bank Act of 1976 on the Narsimhan Working Group recommendation. इसने recommend किया था Narsimhan Working Group recommendation. दे आर ज्वाइंटली ओन्ड बाय सेंट्रल 50% का स्पॉन्सरशिप है. ठीक है. स्पॉन्सर बैंक का 35% है, विच बैंक इज स्पॉन्सरिंग, एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का 15% है. दिस इज दी 100% डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द शेयर होल्डिंग ऑफ रीजनल रूरल बैंक. एंड आपको मैंने बता रखा था कि पीएसएल टारगेट कितना है, 75% ऑफ एग्रीगेट नेट बैंकिंग कैपिटल दे हैव टू प्रायोरिटाइज. ठीक है, हाईएस्ट है. Through phased mergers, the original 196 RRB have been consolidated into 196. पहले RRB था, अब बस 28 ही बचा है. तो प्लान 1.0 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2023 2024 5 क्या था, was clean up digitations. So please try to understand. Just a minute, beta. Just a minute. So now my voice is clear because my voice is clear because I have switched off my headset because it is discharged. So my voice is clear now also. Please tell me. Please reply. Yeah, if you will reply, then only I will know. Okay. Okay. Right. ठीक है. So try to understand. The plan 1.0 was for financial year 2023 and 2025 was a clean up. ठीक है, was a clean up. Why? Because it is for capital bank, capital bad loans. ठीक है, and digitizations. Right? Plan 2.0 क्या है? For the financial year 2026 and 2028, it raises to the bar to competitiveness with commercial banks. Is it clear? Commercial banks के लिए on 4 pillars. पहला देख लो. Commercial banks के लिए operational excellence, asset quality, profitability growth that tracked through the 30 parameter scorecard. Regional rural bank must maintain, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, provisioning CRAR रखना है, ऐसे credit
रिस्क वेटेड एसेट रखना है, दैट इज 9%. ठीक है, नाउ प्लीज हैव अ लुक. ये अपग्रेडेशन है 2.0 प्लान में फॉर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2026-2028. नाउ ये फोर्थ सर्कुलर न्यूज देखो. FEMA authorized person amendment regulation 2026. What it is telling about? It is telling about authorized persons are entities the RBI license to handle foreign exchange. The 2026 rules restructure them and being phasing out standalone money changers. All fresh applications must be filed with the what portal? Parva portal. The RBI will accept no full-fledged money changer FFMC license. FFMC are being phased out. Minimum net worth, it is AD category 2 rupees 3 crore, ये आपका ना 10 crore. AD category 3 rupees 2 crore. Single branch FFMC rupees 25 lakh and multi branch is rupees 50 lakh. AD cat 2 may handle trade transaction up to rupees 25 lakh. ये सब याद रखो. एटलीस्ट ये क्या है, एन एनुअल फॉरेक्स टर्नओवर कितना होना चाहिए? 50 करोड़. FFCB रुपीज 10 करोड़. एटलीस्ट 50% ऑफ द डायरेक्टर्स एंड KMP. ठीक है, KMP hold financial services qualification. A shortfall is in a net worth must be restored within 6 months. Now, try to understand. Appeals go to the executive director, foreign exchange department. Within 45 days, the appellate authority must decide. Within 60 days, a 1-year cooling off applies after revocation rejections, except the net worth failure. Now, fifth circular. Outward remittance via non-bank online platforms. Please have a look. Approval power for fintech foreign remittance tie-ups devolved from RBI to AD category 1. Right, they can now sanction such partnership themselves. ये बस important है. Non-trade current account purposes, education, medical, travel, maintenance and relatives. Non-commercial trade. ठीक है, अब ये समझ लेना, no pulling through the fintech account. The fintech is only the technology layer. It is only the technology layer. There will be no pulling of it. Is it clear? Crucially, customer money must move directly between the customer and the AD1 bank. Is it clear? Now, annual limit, ये important है. Annual limit is USD 2,50,000 per financial year. Now, बस वही डेटा याद रखो. चलो, ठीक है. इन्फ्लेशन टारगेटिंग फ्रेमवर्क एक्सटेंडेड टू 31 मार्च 2031. ठीक है, कितना एक्सटेंड कर दिया गया? 31 मार्च 2031. तो ये रीड कर लेना, ये याद रखो. द गवर्नमेंट फॉर्मली रिन्यूड फ्लेक्सिबल इन्फ्लेशन टारगेटिंग 4% CPI हेडलाइन, नॉट कोर. कोर को नहीं किया है, फ्लेक्सिंग हेडलाइन को किया है. इज इट क्लियर? बैंड प्लस माइनस 2%, 2 से 6%. अब ये कोर क्या है, हेडलाइन क्या? देयर आर टाइप्स ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन. आई हैव टॉट दिस थिंग्स इन माय RBI Grade B कोर्स. स्टैगफ्लेशन क्या होता है, इन्फ्लेशन क्या होता है, कोर इन्फ्लेशन क्या होता है, हेडलाइन इन्फ्लेशन क्या होता है, एवरीथिंग आई हैव टॉट यू. सो आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड ओवर हियर. MPC of 6 members, that is 3 RBI and 3 governments, and the accountability clause. A report of the government if inflation breaches the band for 3 consecutive quarters. So history worth क्या है? Knowing the Urjit Patel Committee 2013-14 recommended FIT with CPI as the anchor, the Monetary Policy Framework Agreement was signed February 2015. The RBI Act was amended in May 20. ये history है, ये read कर लेना. It is nothing much. So global context inflation targeting was pioneered by New Zealand and अब ये भी history है. 4% ये क्या है, बस ये याद रख लो कि 31st तक आपको 2031 तक ये एक्सटेंड कर दिया गया. इज इट क्लियर? अब ये हिस्ट्री क्या है, फेलियर ऑफ मेंटेन इन्फ्लेशन, ये एवरीथिंग यू विल रीड इट ऑन योर ओन. इज इट क्लियर? देयर इज नथिंग मच टू मेक मी अंडरस्टैंड इन द जिस्ट, इन द डिस्कशन ऑफ जिस्ट, राइट? नाउ, 7 circular news is telling about the status on withdrawal of rupees 2,000 bank note. अब ये क्या है? Because it was also in the, अभी तक इसको legal tender से हटा नहीं गया है, तो try to understand what it is telling about. Announced on 19th May 2023 under the Clean Note Policy Section 22 Subsection 1 RBI Act, of the rupees 3.56 lakh crore initially is in circulation, only rupees 5,451 crore remained on April 2026. 98.47 has been returned. The bank branch window closed on 7th October 2023. Notes can now be exchanged only at the 19 RBI issue offices or sent via Indian Post. The notes continues to be a valid legal tender. Still, it is a legal tender. Is it clear? Legal tender क्या होता है? Can anyone tell me? No one can refuse. The Indian Constitution, if you are taking a loan and if you are returning that in the rupees only from Indian bank, right, means the bank cannot tell, okay, you can't repay, you can't return me in the rupees. But if you are taking a loan from SBI and you are returning in US dollar, the bank can refuse that because US dollar is not the legal tender in India. Are you getting my point? तो लीगल टेंडर या फियाट मनी का जो कंसेप्ट होता है ना, इसी कंसेप्ट से आपको डीलिंग किया गया है गोल्ड को पेपर से, राइट? गो एंड वॉच माय फाइनेंस क्लासेस आफ्टर प्रीलिम्स, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि कितना बेहतरीन इवोल्यूशन सोचा गया था. ये फियाट मनी आपको रटवाया जाता है, लीगल टेंडर. फियाट मनी एक एक्ट है, लीगल टेंडर और फियाट मनी की कंसेप्ट आपको समझ में आएंगी. ओके, दिस वाज द रीजन कि मुझे मिनिमम रिजर्व सिस्टम से डीलिंग करना था. किसको? करेंसी नोट को, गोल्ड को करेंसी नोट से डीलिंग करना था, right? Then we have brought the concept of fiat money and legal tender. So still 2000 के बैंक नोट को legal tender बोला जा रहा है. Is it clear? Now the 8th circular news is government bond switch auction rupees 30,000 crore. Government bond ने क्या कर दिया है? Switch auction to rupees 30,000 crore. Try to understand the concept. A bond has been switched or the conversion is a non-cash operation. Instead of paying cash to redeem maturing bond, the government swaps holders into a freshly issued longer dated bonds. Is it clear? Smoothing its repayment profile and avoiding a bunching of maturities. A bond is getting switch or switch operation and a bond conversion or convertible bond refer to a distinct financial process involving fixed income securities. Is it clear? This is all about the 8th circular news that we have discussed. So I hope everyone is making the A4 size paper and noted down, right? That I have told you in the earlier starting. ठीक है? So bond switch क्या होता है? Bond conversion क्या होता है? Right? Bond switch और bond conversion क्या है? देखो, bond is also a type of a debt. ठीक है? तो convertible bonds क्या होगा? Means you can convert that thing into equity. समझ लो कि debt को आप equity में convert कर सकते हो. Bond switch को आप पढ़ लेना, right? Everything I have explained in my RBI Grade B course of financial market. Now, total value is rupees 30,000 crore. Source securitizing maturing 2027, 2030 were exchanged for destination securities maturing 2035 to 2060. Now, the ninth circular news which is important is enforcement and appointment. अब ये देखो क्या क्या है. Yes Bank, what it is telling about? It is important news because Yes Bank and Paytm payment बहुत सारा picture में रहता है. Is it clear? Every year. Now try to understand. Yes Bank is telling about Yes Bank was penalized for not setting up a system to use the KYC identifier from the central KYC record registry, a separate rule. A housing finance company needs the RBI prior approval before changing more than 30%. कितना data याद रख लेना. More than 30% of its non-independent directors. Second news, which is related to the enforcement and appointments, is Sarvodaya Cooperative Banks, which is Mumbai, had its license cancelled. The DICGC cap is rupees 5 lakh per depositor, about 98% covered. The DICGC operates under the ये सब history है, पढ़ लेना, ठीक है? ये सर्वोदय कोऑपरेटिव बैंक 98% has been covered. ये याद रखो. Third, which is Rohit Jain took the charge as the new RBI deputy governor. Surely the question will be different. Which Rohit Jain, 3-year term. किसका? कितना deputy governor का? 3-year term. और अभी governor कौन है? Sanjay Malhotra. Please have a look of it. ठीक है? Now, 10th circular news which is telling about the institutionalization and international. ठीक है? What it is? What is institute के point of view से what is the news and international के point of view से. So there are something. FSDC, which is a Financial Stability and Development Council, the apex coordination body that chaired by the Union Finance Ministers, created in 2010 as an executive body via a government resolution, not statutory, to break the regulatory silos. After the 2008 crisis, the FSDC subcommittee is the operational arm chaired by the RBI governor. The RBI, second, which is related to the international institute, that is the RBI and the European Central Bank. It is important. ठीक है? Signed an updated MOU, which is Governor Sanjay Malhotra and ECB President Lagarde on the sidelines of the Bank for International Settlement meetings in Basel. ठीक है? Now, gold domestications, what it is. The RBI has repatriated over 100 metric tons of gold for the third consecutive financial year. Total sovereign gold holding is about, it is important, इतना याद रख लेना डेटा, 880.52 metric tons, valued around USD 122 billion. The share held in domestic vaults rose from 38% March 2023 to 77%. The overseas share correspondingly fell from 62% to 23%, reducing counterparty risk after the freezing of Russia's reserve in 2022. 14C and the RBI Innovation Hub, that is signed an MOU to deploy Mule Hunter. ये देखो, mulehunter.ai, which uses AI to detect mule accounts used to launder the fraud proceeds. Mule account को mulehunter.ai. Surely question will be framed Mule Hunter पे 14C and RBI Innovation Hub में. किस वजह से ये? To predict what? To predict mule account. And mule account क्या होता है? Please have Google it. You will understand it. ठीक है? Now SEBI. SEBI has been operationalized per Parva, ठीक है, to verify what? Performance claims of intermediaries. Farmers are cybersuraksha.ai. ये भी important है. देखो mule.ai याद रखना, mulehunter.ai and cybersuraksha.ai. Task force and discontinued the IRRA platform from July 1st, 2026. A uniform 30-day lag applies to using market data for education to stop shadow advisory apps discussing life tips as education. Parva क्या है? It is a past risk and return verification agencies. ठीक है? Is an initiative that has been launched by the securities, obviously SEBI, to independently verify and standardize the past performance and risk claim registered financial intermediaries. So किसको किसको cover करता है? Please have a look. That is investment advisor, research analyst, algorithmic trading service providers and others regulatory intermediaries. ठीक है? Operators क्या है? Care Ratings Limited service as Parva. इतनी डिटेल में नहीं पढ़ना है, just have a link कि Parva किस चीज को फॉर्म कर रहा है, that is cybersuraksha.ai, right? Not for prelims, you have to make me understand. अगर लिंक डिटेल में पढ़ना है तो मेरी जो प्लेलिस्ट है पंचसूत्रा बैच में, watch it multiple times after prelims. ठीक है? Right. Regulatory compliance. Regulatory entities are now permitted to use Parva verified data in their advertisement and marketing materials and are required to rely only on verified performance figures when pitching to clients. ठीक है? Now, अब ये फिर अगेन देखो, फिर वही चीज आ गया, कैपिटल एक्सक्लूसिव डिस्क्लोजर नॉर्म फॉर बैंक्स. पहले CET 1 के लिए ले आता है, कभी बैंक्स के लिए ले आता है RBI. तो ये कैपिटल एडिक्वेसी चीज तो चलती रहेगी. आई हैव टोल्ड यू. तो आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड अगेन एंड अगेन, बिकॉज ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट न्यूज है, ये भी जान लेना. बिकॉज क्या किया है RBI ने, बेसल 3 के कुछ चेंजेस, जैसे CRAR प्रोविजनिंग होती है, दे हैव समथिंग टू चेंज ओवर हियर, राइट? सो प्लीज रीड इट ऑन योर ओन. एंड ये सारी चीजें रिपीट हो रही हैं एवरी मंथ. यू विल whenever I will show you the data, every month it is getting repeated. So try to understand. The RBI has released draft norms on banks capital adequacy disclosure, aligning India's with Basel Pillar 3. The market discipline Pillar 3 requires bank to publish reveal. अब ये बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में समझने की जरूरत नहीं, because you have continuously understanding what is capital adequacy, right, from March month. I guess March month से March, April and February में भी discussion they are having. Now keep sorry just a minute. की proposals क्या क्या है, ये सब चीज रेड कर लो. Twin objective, scope, governance, confidentially, timing. And surely a descriptive question will be framed. Basel 3 से, mark my words, because Basel 3 is completely coming in every month, right? तो ये जो capital adequacy norms है ना, इससे descriptive question surely will be framed in finance this year. So ये सारे जितनी भी data है for current affairs, if you will use explaining the Basel 3 norms in my course that I have, surely you will get a good descriptive answer, right? Marks in RBI. The 3 Basel pillars क्या है? Pillar 1 minimum capital, Pillar 2 supervisory review, Pillar 3 market disciplines. Please read it on your own. अब देखो, मैंने बार बार बताया CRAR buffer, मैंने बताया ना 9% plus 2.5% conservational buffer 11.5. BCBS क्या है? And DSIB, I have already told you DSIB क्या है, domestically systematically important bank. इनको तो maintain करना ही करना है. Are you getting my point? Basel norms 3, right? So इसको read करो खुद से. It will be more clear to you because everything I have made you understand. Instrument of monetary policy with current rates. अब ये देखो, ये जो data है ना, it will show you instruments of monetary policy with current rates in one place. ठीक है? That is करंट पॉलिसी रेट्स एज ऑफ अप्रैल मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी कमेटी में भी 5.25 ही है। एमएसएफ मैंने बताया था 0.25 बढ़ जाएगा, देखो इट इज ग्रेटर देन रेपो, राइट। एसडीएफ मैंने बताया था इट इज जस्ट चेंज ऑन द बिहाफ ऑफ रिवर्स रेपो रेट, ये 0.25 घट जाएगा, ठीक है। बैंक रेट 5.5, रिवर्स रेपो रेट, अब रिवर्स रेपो रेट 3.35 रखा गया है, बट अब ये कोई यूज नहीं करता, प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। एसडीएफ को ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ यही रखा गया है। इसमें कोलेटरल आरबीआई नहीं देता, इसलिए इसमें परसेंटेज, मतलब आरबीआई कोलेटरल नहीं देता, इसलिए इसमें परसेंटेज 5% है। सीआरआर 3 एंड एसएलआर 18%, आई हैव टोल्ड यू। अब ये सारे टर्म्स को समझ लो, राइट, एंड इन वन चार्ट, मतलब दिया हुआ है फॉर योर रीडिंग टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या है एवरीथिंग, कि रेपो रेट क्या है, एसडीएफ क्या है, एमएसएफ क्या है, एलएएफ क्या है। एलएएफ के ही कैटेगरीज हैं, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू मेक यू अंडरस्टैंड। इफ यू विल वॉच माय फर्स्ट 3 क्लासेस आफ्टर बैंकिंग रिवॉल्यूशन ना, so you will understand it more clearly. Conceptually, you will be very strong, right? The way I have taken, because I have provided with my handwritten notes, not मैंने ऐसे ही explain नहीं किया है, right? Please do watch and you will understand it everything. Zigzag technology gets RBI final PPI issuer authorization. ये याद रख लो, एक line news है. Is it clear? Which is Zigzag Technologies Private to receive final RBI authorization to operate as prepaid payment instrument, that is PPI issuers under the Payment and Settlement Act of 2007. Nothing much in that. RBI draft PPI rules. Why digital wallets are feeling the pinch? Please try to understand. RBI is telling what? The RBI is released a draft master direction on prepaid instruments, that is PPI 2026 on April 22nd, 2026 to replace the existing 2021 framework, which is public commitment was sought until May 22, 2026. ठीक है? Wait a minute. It is category wise caps क्या क्या है? ये important data है. General purpose full KYC PPIs limited to rupees 2 lakh outstanding balance. Gift PPIs capped rupees 10,000, transit PPI at 3,000. Cash holding restriction कितना है? 10,000 per month. High net worth norms for non-bank issuers कितना है? Minimum 5 crore at application, rising to 15 crore within the 3 financial years maintained on an ongoing basis. Is it clear? अब ये सारी PPI से related क्या है? The please when I will be coming up with the MCQ, इसको read करके आना. That's why I have placed 9:30. ये छोटा सा point है, क्या है, क्या data है, everything, ठीक है? You should read it on your own. Is it clear? It is being provided maximum outstanding balance 2 lakh, I raised from 1 lakh in May 2021. The data you should note it down in your A4 size paper, whatever the data. क्या है maximum outstanding balance, कितना हो सकता है, small minimum KYC PPI पे, loaded in cash and everything. You should note it down, ठीक है? क्योंकि ये changes आया है, तो questions can be surely framed from this. And ये May month पे है, तो surely it will be getting framed. Now, अब देखो सर्कुलर्स में ये मत समझना कि मई मंथ से ज्यादा आ जाएगा, जनवरी से कम आ जाएगा. नो, नथिंग लाइक दैट. ओनली इन मिसलेनियस जी ऐसा होता है कि आपको रिसेंट 3 मंथ्स पढ़ना है, नॉट इन सर्कुलर्स, नॉट इन रिपोर्ट्स एंड नॉट इन फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स. आपको जनवरी से मई पढ़ना ही होगा अच्छे से पूरा, ठीक है? प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. बस ओनली इन मिसलेनियस जी इफ यू विल कवर 3 months, surely the question will be framed in RBI. So RBI pays a record dividend to government, which is telling about the RBI transferred a record dividend of rupees 2.87 trillion, that is approximately equal to 30.1 billion. यही आपको याद रखना है. अब हाईएस्ट है, ये सब रीड कर लेना. Second, the point it is telling about the interest income rose 11.81% to rupees 2.36 trillion in financial year 2026. Gain from forex transaction, which is climbed up to rupees 1.68 trillion. So it is again the story of RBI dividends and distributed under the distinct legal sections. So please try to read it on your own. ठीक है? आज ही सर्कुलर्स खत्म कर लो कि नेक्स्ट डे यू विल बी रेडी फॉर फ्लैगशिप स्कीम्स. सो आरबीआई रिवाइजेस एग्रेसिव प्री मार्केट इंटरवेंशंस टू अरेस्ट रुपीस स्लाइड. इज इट क्लियर? तो इट इज अगेन रुपी स्लाइड में. एंड दिस देखो ये इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स, सो आई एम स्किपिंग इट. व्हाई? बिकॉज रुपी स्लाइड से है, सो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर मेंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. जहां पर आपको रुपी वर्सेस डॉलर की इंटरनेशनलाइजेशन की क्वेश्चन आ गई, देन यू कैन पुट दिस पॉइंट. सो राइट नाउ इफ यू विल वॉच माय पंचसूत्रा प्लान, देयर आई हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड दिस थिंग्स, so you will see that video and after prelims you will check. तो बाकी इसमें कोई डेटा ओरिएंटेड कुछ नहीं है, बस आपको ये याद रखना है कि RBI has revived pre-market dollar intervention via state-run banks after rupee fell whisker 97 to the US dollar, a record low. ठीक है, ये रिकॉर्ड लो है, बस ये याद रखना है। इंजीनियर्ड आर रफली 70% इंटा ड्रे रैली। तो ये सब थोड़ा थोड़ा एफपीआई आउटलॉस क्या है ये रीड कर लेना, नथिंग मच। दिस न्यूज इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स, इज इट क्लियर? जस्ट याद रखना कि कितना लोएस्ट कितना गया है, दैट इज 97। एंड जहां डेटा दिख रहा है कि एफपीआई आउटफ्लोज क्या अबाउट ₹14,231 crore लेफ्ट इन May 2026, only this, बाकी rest of the point। and NDF market, the offshore non-deliverable forward market is Singapore, London, Dubai, that influences onshore rates via arbitrage। ये सारे चीजें की मैकेनिज्म, once you will understand the FEMA rule and how the rupee and international dollar is working, then only you will understand it more clearly, is it clear? So please try to understand it after prelims, ठीक है? बस डेटा अभी prelims के लिए याद रखना, is it clear? Now this is the, I guess, the last news for the May month। let me check, yeah, हाँ ये दो है last and you will understand it more clearly। FM Sitaraman launches 3 new SIDBI's initiative, right? It is important for your SIDBI exam as well, and it is important for your RBI exam as well। So at SIDBI's 37th Foundation Day in Mumbai, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman launched 3 initiatives। वो 3 initiative देख लो। That is SIDBI Macfin Mart, a B2B monetary marketplace was built in financing। RRB co-lending portal, that is linking SIDBI and regional rural bank, you should understand। And more program, a 3-year plan to modernize 10,000 rural and micro and artisanal units, is it clear? Rest everything, the data whatever it has been shown, it is important for your understand, right? Only which 3 initiative and जहां data दिख रहा है, it is important for your prelims, note it down। 3 initiative क्या क्या है? SIDBI Macfin Mart, क्या है ये? A B2B machinery marketplace was built in financing। RRB co-lending portal, ये क्या है? That is linking SIDBI and regional rural bank to push what? Rural credit को push करने के लिए। And more program, it is a 3-year plan to modernize 10,000 rural micro and artisan unit। This is all about it, you have to understand, ठीक है? Where you are making the notes of May month, ठीक है? Now अब ये सब सारा चीज लिखा हुआ है, यू शुड रीड इट। एंड ये आपको अभी मैंने बता दिया था कि आरआरबी की व्हाट इज द परसेंटेज ऑफ शेयर, सिडबी के साथ से बना है क्या है, एंड एवरीथिंग, राइट? नथिंग मोर डेटा, सो इट इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स। ये इनिशिएटिव को आप कोई एमएसएमई की कोई डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चन आती है तो सिडबी की ये मे मंथ की इनिशिएटिव को आप अपने डिस्क्रिप्टिव पॉइंट में ऐड कर सकते हो, राइट? नॉट इन प्रीलिम्स, इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर मेंस, ठीक है? नाउ RBI revises polymer bank note, and it can be asked, surely the question will be asked। So RBI is revising plans to print polymer plastic bank notes to meet rising cash demand। A pilot for public use is expected to be announced। मतलब polymer plastic bank notes is getting, RBI is getting to have to meet what? Market demand for cash, is it clear? To meet market demand for cash। तो ये जो भी येलो लाइन से मेंशन्ड है ना, प्लीज नीट इट। करेंसी प्रिंटिंग कॉस्ट रोज इतना, राइट? अप फ्रॉम, ठीक है, हाँ ठीक है, वेरी गुड। तो फ्रॉम ₹5,100 प्रायर ईयर मेनली ड्यू टू दी हायर प्रिंटिंग इंडेंट। सॉल्ड नोट डिस्पोजल स्टेट एट इतना। ये डेटा सारा, ये डेटा पढ़ लेना, मोस्टली 500 देन 100 notes। नाउ ग्लोबल कंटेक्स्ट इज व्हाट? 60 countries यूज पॉलीमर नोट्स, दैट इज ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाज फर्स्ट, ठीक है, 1988 में $10 नोट, followed by Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Romania was first in Europe 1998, Canada in 2011, US notes as a cotton linen blend, ठीक है? तो गवर्नमेंट क्यों वरी कर रही है? प्लीज ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड why the government is worried about dollars leaving India's RBI data। These are the things you should read it, that India's balance of payment if you understand, then you will understand the news। नहीं तो डेटा रट लो। डेफिसिट कितना है? ऑफ $30.8 billion, जो कि रिपीट भी हो रहा था आपके प्रीवियस सर्कुलर्स में। यू कैन रीड इट एंड यू शुड रीड इट बाय ऑन योर ओन, ठीक है? व्हाई गवर्नमेंट इज वरीड अबाउट डॉलर्स लिविंग इंडिया आरबीआई डेटा, व्हाट इट इज शोइंग अबाउट। सो यू शुड रीड इट द डेटा बिकॉज इट इज समथिंग, ट्रेड डेफिसिट क्या होता है एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड प्लीज मेक अ नोट ऑफ इट, ठीक है? वेट, and because ye sare questions with MCQ I will be covering, so I am not here in the mood because already the class is of 4 hours, so to explain you, so now we have completed all the circulars from January, starting from January to May month, right? So I will be discussing the what? Now I will be only discussing the MCQ. So what I have told you that you all have to maintain. देखो, starting में there were 25 students and now there were 8 students left out. Okay? So see the concentration level after 4 years, 4 hours. So you can check how many students are serious, right? So if you will understand the competition, there are no competition. So be very confident while giving the examination. Yes, I can surely crack the prelims, and you have 40 days after the main. It is easy. Don't think about it's my first time or it's my second timer. Don't think about that. It is easy to crack, but be relevant and be confident. Not be overconfident, be confident in the examination. So thank you so much. Keep learning, and we will be meeting in the MCQ session of circulars that I have discussed from January to March. Hope you all have liked it. Please do like and subscribe and share to your friends, those who are preparing for RBI Grade B seriously as well.